Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Brown Bear, Tenwin, thank you for being here right from the get-go. And I finally got the stream elements bot to work again. Do not know why it didn't for a while there. So you can try to race the stream elements bot again, Tenwin, if you really want to. We're going to dive right back in because we still have so much of this goddamn city to explore. And hopefully we won't run into another boss at the very end of stream like we did last time. Thanks for that, Rimmergand, old buddy. Increase game speed, please. And let's go. Here to whisper in your ear to kill perfectly innocent NPCs. I mean, somebody's got to. Oh, wait. Isn't this...
Watcher, can you hear me?
You raise your head to find yourself surrounded by anxious faces. Flaune withdraws the finger currently prodding at your temple and nearly stumbles backwards.
Oh, thank the gods. Thank Helia. Merla, you had us in a panic.
Flaune sets a hand to her chest and fans herself with the other.
I don't have to tell you it didn't work. The current spiked and you went completely still. Breathing, but nothing else. We sent for the physician. Myself, I was about to try throwing some water in your face.
Yep, I remember Tenwin. I remember. But I didn't see any I don't think I recall this quest being marked as that.
Do you feel any pain? Do you remember anything?
Rimmergand sends his regards.
You had some kind of vision? A near-death experience?
No, I mean I literally was in the beyond, and Rimmergand was not quite happy with your experimentation.
What was it like?
Cold. Weird. While you speak, one of the researchers prods you gently with a copper rod. You hear the device in his hand give a high, piercing whine. Well, now what?
Sientere, Watcher, truly. It seemed we sent your mind further afield than intended, and without the rest of you in tow. Not entirely outside our predictions, but not the result we wanted. We have stipend for volunteers. You're welcome to the sum of it. I hope it goes some way toward earning your forgiveness. Just as I hope this hasn't put you off helping us. We just have to adjust the current, give you a chance to control your flight, for want of a better word. We're all very glad you're in one piece. We'll have a look at the machines, figure out what went wrong. Until then, I'm sure our friends at headquarters will want an update, and to see I haven't done you any permanent harm. We'll send word when we're ready here.
I mean, Lord Brownbear, we finished Pillars of Eternity 1 with a treasury numbering over 200,000 copper pieces, an arsenal of unique weapons, and exceptional and superior weapons, all of which could have also been sold for thousands upon thousands of more copper. So yeah, we're kind of on hard times. We barely have enough money to keep the ship afloat. Okay, quest beyond, yeah. I have no idea what that was then. Oh, yeah. So, okay. That's on me. I fucked that up. The game was literally telling me, yeah, you might not want to do this one right away. Well, we managed to get through that. Barely. And I did get a level up from it at the very least. I've honestly been using metaphysics more than I have diplomacy, so I'm going to go to put a extra point in that, and then we'll do another point diplomacy next level. You just didn't see it. Yeah, I didn't pay attention. Oh, we have access to level 3 powers now. Gain 1 power in each. There's reflex, invokes a retaliatory strike once per encounter whenever they target the Cypher's will defense. +1 penetration with all weapons. Okay. Gain concentration at the start of combat. Secret Horrors, Soul Ignition. Soul Ignition is decent. Remember that. Pain Link. Could be useful. Beam. Causes crush damage to any enemies caught in between. Lasts for 10 seconds. Deals 7 to 13 damage every 1 second. And then there is Puppet Master. Increase maximum and starting focus. That'll be useful. and even more starting focus, and even more starting focus. Okay, okay. The funny thing is, we're probably not going to take many powers past the 3rd or 4th tier because I don't remember using them very much. Probably Detonate is still probably pretty decent. Detonate and Disintegration, but the top end powers, like the 7 and 8, probably not. The real bread and butter of Cypher is like the first 4 levels, the first 4 power levels. Simply because you get Puppet Master, you get Paralyzation, you get Blinding, you can get Charm, and you can even get... I really wish this one still gave you Armor instead of Resolve. You never use 9M. Actually, you didn't have not... Yeah, but you are right, Tenwin. Like, we occasionally use Time Parasite just because it was that fucking good, so maybe... Well, we can't get it under this run, but we might... Let me see what we have. Stasis Shell. Screaming Souls. I mean, it is raw damage. That might be good. Brilliant. Unlocks the hidden repository of the allies' mind and soul, granting the brilliant inspiration for a short time. Problem is, that's for one... Well, I mean, it is +1 to all power levels and +1 to all class resources. That might be a good one to have at the end game. But we still aren't going to need too many, honestly. Ooh, now Paladin... We can upgrade Lay on Hands. Stand for that and granting Courageous Inspiration. +5 Resolve. Concentration every 6 seconds. Cannot be interrupted. Cannot die for 4 seconds. Nice. Hey, Sint, welcome. Hey, Sint, welcome, welcome. You do really want the ability in Tier 5? I can't even see it now, but... improves Will Defense, Fortitude Defense, Reflex, Concentration. Paladin's melee attacks remove Charm, Confused, and Dominated Afflictions from party members. Oh. Right. Attack targets when scoring a hit, immunity to Intellect Affliction. No Cypher Twin Blades. Paladin Tier 5? Oh, that's what you're referring to. Yeah, we can get Abjuration, which will destroy spirits all on their own. During Beacon. Oh, AoE Blind, Accuracy versus Will. Can't do anything with that. Granting a damage bonus against the target till combat ends or the target goes down. 4 damage per 3 seconds. While the burn lasts, the enemy will take burn damage. Oh, doesn't that last the entire combat fight, though? Yeah, so that's just permanent damage on who... Yeah. Attacks that remove afflictions from allies could be really good. Yeah, that's not the worst idea. I feel like that would be better if I had a faster weapon, though. At least for right now. Let me see. Rival is defeated. Zeal cost is refunded. I know. I need to use them more, especially since mainly I need to use Sword Enemy more because it's actually very useful on single targets. Plus, I'm trying to get better about using my abilities. Bow target mark. Marks the focus. Righteous Fury granting a damage bonus against the target. Combat ends or the target goes down. If the rival is defeated, the Zeal cost is refunded. Or 4 damage every 3 seconds for the entire fight. You're still working on PoE 1 ability logic? A little bit, yes. I'm not gonna lie. I need to get over that. I need to think of it more like how the spells worked in Tyranny. I just need to use them. Just keep boosting her religion skill and alchemy skill, please. Welcome to Tier 4. Spell shaping. While casting target area effect spells, gain the ability to increase or decrease the size of the area at the cost or benefit of power level. Could be useful. Gains penetration with fire, gains penetration with electricity, gains penetration with acid and decay. Grinding Beacon lowers all enemy defenses by 10 and inflicts burn damage. Triumph of the Crusaders. Grants them the strong inspiration, so it does have, yep, +5 might. When any ally in the area delivers a killing blow, they regain health. That might be useful. A lot of her damage is fire-based. Is it? I mean, Divine Mark deals fire damage. That's crush damage. Pillar of Faith, Beacon. No, Pillar of Faith is crush damage. It's not fire damage. Storm of Holy Faith. Storm of Holy Fire. Oh, right. That and Cleansing Flame are both fire damage, but we can wait until we get a bit further down to grab that, because otherwise she really only has one fire damage spell, and it's just Divine Mark. Which Divine Mark already massively reduces the enemy's defenses. Ooh, Devotions of the Faithful, though. Unless you take Beacon. What Beacon? Oh, yeah, burn damage. Well, the problem is it's... Wait. Yeah, it only procs 3 times. Well, I guess that's still useful. Grants the Hardy Inspiration. Gains +2 armor rating. That's nice. Divine Terror, Frightened. Ooh, that makes it so they cannot use attack abilities as well. Okay, priests actually have quite a bit now. Even more so than before. Thanks to the reworking of the way debuffs work in this game. I'm thinking Devotions. We'll grab Devotions for the buff. Nah, I like Devotions better. +4 might, -4 might on the enemy, +10 accuracy, -10 accuracy. Yeah, Priest multi-class is overall very good combo. Wouldn't be surprised, yeah. I could see Priest Paladin as well being a very effective thing. You take the Paladin abilities for your damage, you take Priest abilities purely for buffs, and then you just completely buff yourself in every fight and then go to town on anybody. This is interesting, actually. Hold on. So this isn't the normal affliction, is it? Because, yeah, they're all usually classified as something. So this isn't classified as a affliction. Because all the afflictions work off of multiples of 5. So you could stack this with, like, something like the strong affliction and get 9 might out of it. That's interesting. Paladin, Priest, or Templar, or Shaman, Priest, Barbarian. Oh, Priest, Barbarian. Yeah, that would be actually really good, because you'd really just need Frenzy from the Barbarian tree, and then you could focus all your abilities on your Priest spells for buffs. That would actually be pretty cool. Not gonna lie. Ooh, Cypher Priest. Oh, that would be interesting. Master of buffing and debuffing. You'd be really strapped for skills, though. Like, you'd almost be a pure spellcaster. It says you're a heretic. The Mystic. Oh, okay, yeah. I guess the real question is, do I want to get Divine Terror for the Frightened debuff, or do I want Triumph of the Crusaders? The main advantage of Triumph of the Crusaders is +5 to might for 60 seconds. And if we kill anybody in that time, big heals. I don't know. The more we do this, the more Jyoti is turning into a pure buffing character. Like, she's really not going to be fighting. But the AoE is not that big. Yeah, 1.5 radius. That's not the best. Whereas this is a 2.5 radius plus an additional 2.5. 1.5 on that one. That's a single use. We'll go with Shining Beacon then for the debuff. One buff, one debuff. When we get down to tier 7, and we can get Storm of Holy Fire and Cleansing Flame. Oh, or tier 6 with Pillar of Holy Fire. Then we'll grab Scion of Flame. That will give her some combat spells, and then the rest will focus on buffs. Interesting that her top stuff is all... Huh. I guess it would also work with Magrin's Might, since that is a fire spell too. Revenge of Skane. Ooh, big radius. That inflicts the blind infliction to anyone who's inside or moves into the area. Ooh. Allies nearby gain a bonus to all defenses. Any enemy who strikes someone under the deity's protection will become blinded. It's a unique spell where you straight up just summon an avatar of Bareth. It would be kind of fitting if you were playing a death godlike cleric. Or a death godlike priest of Bareth. That would be kind of interesting. Oh, we can summon an ally. That's interesting. That's nice. Minor avatar. I have to imagine Minor Avatar is still one of the best, like, if you're playing a melee priest or a combat priest, it's probably the best thing that you can get. Yeah, especially if you can max out the duration. Shields of the Faithfuls plus 20 deflection. Champion's Boon, plus 5 resolve, plus 5 might, and plus 2 penetration. If you side with Wodoka in the first game, you will at a later point get a unique item that allows you to summon the effigy a few times. Ooh. That sounds dangerous. But yes, okay. Devotions of the Faithful, Shining Beacon. Moving on. Taking up enough time trying to look at all of this. Takehu. Let's see here. We've already got metaphysics covered. We've already got history covered. Well, not under this current one. Him being a backup history person wouldn't be the worst choice. And as for this, she has a little bit of Arcana. I know Aloth has a lot of Arcana. You know what? Him being our explosives expert would be kind of hilarious. He seems the kind of guy who would do that. Ooh, okay. All right, yeah, he can't take... Yeah, because it's a beast spell, so he does not have access to that. That increases... Okay, Secrets of the Rime with Frost and Water attacks is probably a good idea, given the fact that he has several Frost and Water spells that are quite good. Hailstorm, Overwhelming Wave. Causes crush damage and the Stun Affliction. Moonwell or Hailstorm? Yeah. Oh, right, it does improve all defenses. I forgot about that. Ooh, they shortened its duration, though. Pretty sure it used to last quite a bit longer than that. But it does have a decent radius. Yeah, they kept Plague of Insects as being a 10 raw damage per 3 seconds for 20 seconds. I can't wait to encounter somebody who can cast that. We all remember how that went. But yeah, given his ability to cast this without having to worry about where it's located, and it's versus reflex, which we definitely want. So we're going to grab that, and we're going to grab his Secrets of the Rime to improve his penetration with his ice spells. Maybe later. Maya, you will never, ever be using that diplomacy skill. You can continue to be our stealth sniper, though, and with your survival skill. Okay, who does not need to improve his penetration? God damn it. Okay, so what exactly does she start with? Why can I not? There we go. Vicious Companion. She has a gunner. She has the two-handed style. She has combat focus, which keeps her concentrated. Has better disengagement. Plus one enemies engaged. That's really not you. Her bird is not a tank. It's a preternatural awareness, giving both significant bonuses to defense against area of effect attacks when they're... The problem is they're usually nowhere near each other, so that doesn't really help. Plus 10 accuracy against a single marked enemy. Oh. If the prey is killed, the mark will jump to a nearby enemy. That's nice. That simplifies having to deal with that shit. The ranger strikes in oh, that's in melee. That doesn't do me any fucking good. Concussive shot. Okay, there we go. Interrupts even on a graze. That's good. It also has bonus accuracy. Brutal takedown. Rush target grants a large penetration bonus to the attack. That could be useful. Evasive roll. Evasive fire. I'm thinking concussive shot, though. Oh, that could be really good. Concussive tranquilizer shortens the duration of beneficial effects on the target by 30 seconds. That's actually really good. The other we can take is accurate wounding shot. Inflicting raw damage over time, so it deals an additional 40% weapon damage over 6 seconds. Or, if successful, hobbled, -5 dexterity and cannot run for 10 seconds. Wait a second. Wounding shot already deals 20%. Then what is the... Oh, it just becomes far more accurate. Each of these dies, Maya takes significant debuffs. That is true. We do have 2 abilities. Neither of those are very good, so we don't have to worry about that. +5 accuracy with ranged weapons at over 4 meters. Okay, I like that. Revive Companion and increase her accuracy at long range. And Pelagina. Keep boosting your athletics. Keep boosting your intimidate. Now has access to 4th power level. Ooh, increases Paladin's maximum zeal. That might be good. Obviously, that would be good. Grants them the steadfast inspiration. That could be very useful. What do we have? We have the Exalted Endurance. 3 health every 3 seconds. Not the greatest, but still pretty solid. We'll give her that. We'll give her the Revive. Maya can get rather absurd, especially with the unique arquebus that exists in the game. Ooh, I can't wait.
Sure thing.
Okay, I believe we are done here then. Okay. I will admit, Tenwin, I'm a little bit concerned at the size of this game and the fact that I'm already level 7. Because that has me very concerned that the power level is a lot higher in this game.
Heavy to you?
¿Qué? My armor.
No. The weight on your soul.
Oh god, no. Jyoti, you're barking up the wrong tree, for the love of God.
It'll drag you to the depths of hell. I know I do.
No, my soul is light. It will enter the beyond when I die, like anyone else's.
You're right. Every soul does go in, but not every soul gets to come back out.
Instead of worrying over my soul, worry about why the gods threaten us with damnation.
Okay, I will admit, this is just a slight annoyance of me. We played through the entirety of the first game, and there was no mention of a hell. No mention of a specific hell in this world. It almost feels like they came up with it just so they could make the haha Jody is from the Southern America, is from a place that's the equivalent of the South of America, and she's hyper religious and talking about people going to hell. That does feel a little I don't know. That feels a little not very good world. Like, I don't see how you can just not say that at all in the first game. And then, oh yeah, let's come up with this. And then we're going to have the character with the deep southern accent talking about it. It's essentially the Holy Belt. Yes, it's called the Bible Belt. It's literally called the Bible Belt. It's most of the southern states plus a couple of the Midwest states as well. But it's like, it's... Did you really just retcon in a world element just so you could make a joke about it? Like, if it was actually something real, you might have a point, but as far as we know, it's not. Hell is the thing, it's just a different name for the Beyond, but it doesn't work as hell. But yeah, but then why call it hell? I'm sorry, Tenwin, but I'm not, I feel like it's very like, haha, we called it hell because the character who sounds like she's from the deep south is going to talk about people going to hell. Like, I'm sorry, it very much sounds like somebody on the writing staff was somewhat, I'm not saying all of them, but someone on the writing staff had a chip on their shoulder about this. Sometimes a miss slips past. Oh yeah, I know. Not every writing team and every writing job can be perfect.
Fancy a look at this stock?
It's just noticeable. It's just noticeable, Tenwin, that this is the first time I've really noticed it in a Pillars game so far. Saying it's a Red Saren thing would only reinforce it. Yeah. I mean, it could be that it's a Gone thing rather than a Red Saren thing specifically, but then that doesn't make it very nice that the very first person we've encountered who refers to Eothas specifically as his aspect of Gaun is also the only person talking about it. Again. Let me see what you have.
Have a look.
Ooh. The amazing and truly incredible instant potion belt. Summons a random potion into an empty quick slot. The potion will vanish when combat ends. Once per encounter. Okay. Animancy Cat? Why does... +1 metaphysics, +1 arcane. And all creatures your party summon gain might and gain bonus might and penetration. Wow! So, yeah, if you're playing like a chanter build that it focuses on summoning, that would be amazing. Holy shit. Holy fuck, it's expensive. Don't worry, kitty. We'll be back for you. Don't worry. We won't leave you behind. It has the cone of shame. 10% chance to cast Boiling Spray on an enemy where the wearer is critically hit in melee. +1 to burn armor. Grants hearth and home. Teleport to an ally's location. Ring of Overseeing. Ooh, those are always good. Rings of Overseeing are pretty damn good. On the other hand, though, we found so many of these fucking things by the end of the game. Do I really want to waste money on it right now to buy it? I'm thinking no. I'm honestly thinking no. Like, by the...
That's it! For God's sake, I can't take it anymore.
The priestess stumps, and hops around, doing her best impression of a cricket caught in a hot skillet. Occasionally, she tosses up her arms as she spins, her teeth bared in a scowl.
Oh, I'm seeing red all right everywhere, and it ain't a passing vision. Pallegina, we're gonna have words, you and I.
She turns to the paladin and glares, anger like fire in her eyes. Well, we have had a large number of conversations where we have kind of implied our own anti-religious stance, which has probably not helped in regards to Jody and Pallegina. Well, yeah, have you not... Brown Bear, we literally just had a conversation because the whole concept of hell got brought up between the two of them. These two are not going to get along.
And maybe you'll even apologize.
My character is just going to be watching this like, Jody, you don't want to do this. Jody, you don't want to do this. She is going to fold you like a pretzel if she needs to. Pallegina's feathers ruffle and the muscles in her jaw bulge as she grinds her teeth, her golden eyes disappearing under narrow lids. The Valian smoothly turns to face Jyoti.
Little woman making a big noise. When someone takes that tone with me, what follows is not conversation. In the Republics, no one would bat an eye if I cut you from gut to gullet and left you holding your innards in a ditch.
The color completely drains from Jody's face, but she slides a step forward rather than back. too stubborn to easily relent.
You can throw your threats around in an attempt to avoid this, but it won't work. I want the air cleared, at last and for good.
Both of you, stop. What is the problem?
The problem is, this featherhead doesn't know when to stop squawking obscenities about the gods, Watcher.
He pops her jaw, cracking each one of her knuckles.
I've been turning a deaf ear for too long, disgracing both myself and my god, ignoring the no-good, sour-sounding, moronic blasphemy that spews out of her mouth.
Fair Blanca. Another frail-faithed priest has come to mumble tearful protestations because I don't see the world with their blind eyes. I'm sure this will be as fresh as a pasture full of cow droppings.
Pallegina sighs and crosses her arm. Wonder, does Pallegina prefer Jyoti or Durance? Say what you will, Durance mostly only talk to us. So yeah, I'd actually say Pallegina probably prefers Durance. For all his problems, Durance largely did not speak up in other people's matters unless it was us directly. Also agreed with Pallegina's views. Yeah. At the very least, Durance took the position of, the gods have things to teach us, but the gods themselves suck. Don't want anything to do with Durance. He'll think you're worse off for it and leave you be. Yeah, the worst you might get is the occasional disparaging comment, but otherwise he'll largely just shut up. Jyoti strikes me as the person who, it's to her credit and to the way she's written, because she is meant to be sort of the younger, not naive necessarily, but very much younger, more exuberant cast member. She honestly thinks she's helping people when she goes off like this, trying to save their soul or whatever, even though, again, the entirety of the first game very much established that there isn't really a heaven. Souls just reincarnate, and it doesn't really matter. I mean, honestly, from what we've seen of Bareth, it doesn't matter what you do in life. Bareth is just going to reincarnate you through the wheel regardless. Like, there might be some leeway for certain people who have pleased the gods in a particularly, capable fashion, but otherwise, Bareth really doesn't fucking care. I mean, the gods can and might punish you, but it requires some truly extreme stuff. Yeah, Pallegina being angry at the gods, and quite frankly, specifically angry at Hyleia, let's be honest, is not what's going to send her to hell. In fact, aside from her occasional blasphemy, Pallegina is probably one of the most upstanding members of our party. We do see how just being reincarnated regardless can have negative effects, especially if someone evil like a serial killer becomes awakened. True, but again, there's no implication that that is intentional on Bareth's part. Jyoti is applying a lot of anthropomorphized thought processes to beings that are no longer fully human. Or fully kith, I suppose, should be the proper response in this universe. Again, they are formed from the amalgamations of kith, as we now know, but, yeah. Imagine someone getting awakened with Pallegina's soul in a situation similar to Aloth. Yeah. The thing is, though, awakened souls are treated in this world as the aberrations that they are. You're not supposed to awaken. Being awakened is usually seen as a bad thing, because people openly acknowledge that there's often no rhyme or reason to a soul being reincarnated. I mean, Aloth is a great example. Aloth being all studious and prim and proper and an Adiran nobleman through and through. And what's the awakened soul in him? A loudmouth, foul, braggart Isilmir from the days before civilization was even a concept. Like, again, Jyoti is... It's interesting. The gods are amalgamations of the kith of this universe, but Jyoti is anthropomorphizing them to an even greater extent than they themselves are actually anthropomorphized. It's, again, unfortunately, now that I'm seeing all these similarities, because I will admit, I grew up in many states in several states of the American South, this really feels like, I don't know, it feels either like there were two writers working on Jyoti and one of them had a big chip on their shoulder regarding this, or there was someone in charge of writing Jyoti who really who thought that this would be funnier than it actually was and seemed to forget the world building that was done in the first game. I think that might be a closer approximation to what happened. Because I get it. The Red Sarens are supposed to be more religious. They're, let's be honest, having seen Jody more and the Red Sarens here in this game, they're really pushing that whole, the Deerwood is the Yankee states and the Red Saras is the southern states. Honestly, to some extent, I kind of find it funny. I'd probably find it funnier again if it didn't feel like they were retconning aspects of the religious world that they had established in the first game. And to me, that smells of, I don't know, that just smells of someone having, it's like someone read the notes they had on Red Saras and went, oh yeah, that's the American South. Instead of going, oh, this is inspired by the American South, or oh, this is something similar to it. They went, no, that's the American South, and I'm going to make fun of the American South in the process. It just reeks to me of somebody inserting too much of an analogy from our world rather than drawing inspiration from our world. I don't know. I'm probably not describing it very well, Tenwin. I apologize if this is seeming off track. It just already feels as if, I don't know. And I guess part of the issue is that it's showing up so early. Like, even as you just said, like, her going off on Pallegina like this, she's had way more negative responses to Takehu's shit. But I also get it at the same time. Jody places more importance on her faith than she does on her own personal, like, comfort. So, like, her personally not getting along with Takehu is not the same as Pallegina just casually being angry at the gods all the time. I get it. That part of the writing I get. Like, Jody holds her faith closer as a higher standard, as a higher priority than even her own comfort. That makes sense within the way she's been written. It's the fact that it's showing up this early and the fact that, again, they seem to have rewritten some of their lore just to accommodate the haha, look at the religious zealot. Which is weird because Durance was equally a religious zealot and you could laugh at him, I suppose, but you never got the feeling that the writers were... You never got the feeling that the writers were laughing at the people who enjoyed his character. I guess might be the thing. Whereas I feel like if you enjoy Jody as a character, that would lead to whoever wrote her going, see, you're the person I was making fun of. Some of these slightly random events can come a bit too fast or way too late. The system is slightly jank. I can understand that. They were working with a different system. Personally, I will say this much. I appreciate that they even tried. If you're going to have a game with lots of NPC companions, they need to interact. Like, you can't just have the, like, let's be honest, this was a weakness of some of the early BioWare titles. I would say Dragon Age Origins to a limited extent, and Mass Effect 1 in particular, where sometimes it always felt like the companions were interacting with the main character and not with each other. BioWare got better about this in the later titles in both series, especially Mass Effect 2 and 3, which I think do an amazing job of showing the different NPCs interacting with each other. In one playthrough, it actually came right as I left the Valiant headquarters, like literally outside the doors. Oh dear. I think Jody said one thing to Pallegina. Yeah. All right, we'll try to hopefully my diplomacy stat will actually come into being with this as far as resolving companion disputes. You're upset because Pallegina disdains the gods.
I'm working my way down from active disdain to slight regard. I'd prefer to give the lot of them as little of my time as possible.
See, no, that's perfectly fair, and no offense, Jody. I try to do the same thing, I just don't have the option. Thanks, Mom. A disbelieving sound hitches in Jody's throat.
The more she disparages the gods, the more she tempts ruination on her very soul.
See, this is what I mean. We know that's not the case.
I can't just let that happen. Besides, her arrogance irritates me.
Okay, see, that's actually a character motivation I can understand, Jody. Pallegina is not everybody's cup of tea, I get it.
Of course you see it as arrogance. You surround yourself with believers. The very idea of disbelief offends you.
I'd like to imagine Takehu, who literally sees himself as the child of Nagati, is just slowly backing away from this entire conversation. The gods seem to allow people actively not liking them, Skane especially. Yeah, Skane, Rimmergand, to a lesser extent Andra, although she, you know, has her own issues. I'd say Whale probably doesn't give a shit if people don't dislike him. In fact, he'd probably find it funny because of his whole idea of knowledge and how that works. He probably doesn't give a shit if people like him or not. Magrin seems to actively enjoy people being annoyed and angry at her because she sees it as a trial. And Gallowayne would encourage anybody who dislikes him to, well, bring it, bitch. Both Stefani and Pelagina look at each other as both of them are well experienced with the gods and know their secret. Finding Jody slightly annoying, refusing to acknowledge said secret. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry. It also kind of baffles me because maybe it's just a case of, well, we don't know what ending you chose and what dialogue specifically you chose in the first game. But I could easily see my character, with how I've been playing him, sitting Jody down and being like, look, I get you have your faith. Honestly, I do. I really do. But here's why me and Pelagina don't see eye to eye with that. And it's not because we don't like you. It's not even necessarily because we don't dislike, that we hate the gods specifically. It's that as a whole, the Pantheon sucks.
And little girl, you have no idea what it is like to grow up being godlike. So do not presume to know what it means about my soul or my life.
Yeah, considering both of the people against this discussion are godlikes, it really makes me wish you could play as an Aothus godlike in Pillars 1 and Pillars 2, because that would just really fucking drive the point home.
That's why I asked you what it was like. But instead of ever telling me anything, you just give me insults or a cold shoulder.
Okay, again, see, this I like. Jody has a natural curiosity about these things. She would want to know. Yes, it does come from a place of faith, which Pelagina isn't going to like, but you can't deny that Jody is trying to actually connect with some. If you could have been in the first game, everyone would be hostile. Yeah, that is true, Tenwin. Fair enough. Like, see, more moments like this where Jody actually feeds into a difference in personality, because yes, her and Pelagina's personalities are very different, so I can see why they clash. This I like. And I do think Pelagina's kind of in the wrong here, because I know why some people say, well, it's not on Pelagina to explain it to Jody. Even though in the context of an RPG and in the context of being party members that are united by us as the main character as a group, it kind of is. Although I think in this particular case, if you're playing a godlike, I hope they give you the option to be like, hey, Jody, if you have questions about godlike, you can ask me. Pelagina doesn't like talking about it. That would be a nice way to compromise it.
In this, it's her or me, Watcher.
Oh, thank God, a diplomacy option that actually works. Yeah, Pelagina's beliefs are just as strong as yours, Jody. They may be different, but that doesn't make them wrong. Jody might be mad, but she means well, and you can't fault her for taking offense when you malign a cause to which she's devoted her life. See, I feel... The funny thing is, I feel like doing this is essentially just combining options 1 and 2 so that they both try to acknowledge it. If you could... And Jody would be all over you. Yeah. You're both at fault, you idiots. Each of your experiences and your worldviews are valid. There can be a compromise. Jody, Pelagina's beliefs are just as strong as yours. She wouldn't be a paladin of her people if she wasn't. They may be different. That doesn't make them wrong. And as for you, Pelagina, Jody has not spent much time among any of the godlike. Now she has you, me, and Takehu all within arm's reach. Don't blame her. You can't fault her for taking offense when you misalign a cause to which she's devoted her life. And Jody, please, if you have questions about godlike, you can ask me or Takehu. Pelagina doesn't like talking about it, and you shouldn't force her to do so. Now please, can the two of you come to a compromise? Jody sucks in a deep, rattling breath. After holding it in for several heartbeats, she then pushes it slowly out through her nose. Her first attempt to speak comes out in a croak, but she finally manages. Rather than proud of this party can manage to cater 3 godlikes so far, considering how rare they are.
You're not wholly wrong, I reckon.
Thank you, Jody. Fingers splayed, she scrubs her palms over her
If
face.
after all you've seen, Watcher, you really believe that we're both right, you're an even bigger fool than this one.
She cants her head sharply in Jody's direction and casts her eyes between both of you. I'm not saying that you're both right. I'm saying that what you both believe can be right for you. And also, Pelagina, we may dislike the whole gods and worship angle and things like that. That doesn't mean the gods don't have power, and that doesn't mean priests aren't useful, especially to the common folk. Jody wanting to be a priest for the sole purpose of helping people is still a noble pursuit, even if you don't agree with the rationale behind that pursuit. Don't go all Ayn Rand altruism is actually evil on me, okay?
Anyway, I'm not the one who got upset. I'd just as soon get on with more important things.
That is true. And again, Jody, for the love of the gods, if you have questions about godlike and Pallegina does not want to talk about it, there are two other options in the party. Stop bothering the woman who doesn't want to talk about it when you have two other options. I'm sure Takehu would love to talk your ear off for 10 hours straight about being a
Guess
godlike.
that leaves me to apologize. I'm sorry. There, I said it.
Takehu's
But
not the
don't
best
think it'll happen
example.
again.
I'm not saying he's the best. To be fair, Tenwin, Pallegina's not the best example either. Then again, I'd argue Hyleia is very weird for having blessed somebody as a godlike who then can't have children despite Hyleia being the god of childbirth. I mean, again, we're not going to get into Pallegina essentially getting what she wanted out of it because we did all that last session. I'm just saying it still feels very weird for Hyleia to give anybody godlike abilities when it to a female, to a woman, since it basically ensures they cannot do what Hyleia is the primary goddess of. Okay. Everybody's mostly calmed down. We're all good. Okay? Okay? Let's go. What do you...
Friend, the blessings of the priests are priceless, but so too is...
I'm sure you do. Let me just see it. I'm not here for a speech about what your religion is. Magnificent escape once per encounter, 10 deflection against disengagement attacks, exceptional stiletto, some traps, a grenade, oil of allure, blessed incense. Oh. +2 history, +2 insight, +2 metaphysics, and +2 religion. Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Payment for heads. It could be no simpler.
Is there really a bounty officer in every single section of the city? An armored Juana turns and looks you up and down. She holds this motionless pose across a long and contemplative silence. Finally, she draws out a single pyre and balances the coin on her
Tell
knuckles.
me, are you someone who walks the path that coin lays out before you?
Oh, no, that's very true, Tenwin. That's very true. Not even just discounting his attitude, even just going with his life experiences. But at the same time, again, that's why I am kind of disappointed there wasn't an option, since they've been pretty good about including godlike in the various like when characters respond to you and in some of the writings. It would be nice for your character to, as part of that compromise line, to be like, hey, I'm also a godlike. I am literally standing right here, Jody. You do not have to bother Pallegina. I know the two of you don't get along, so please don't bother her. Your experience of godlike would be different from Takeru and Pallegina's. Exactly. Exactly. It's like, again, Jody, if you're interested in the godlike experience or figuring out how godlike work, you have other people to talk to. I enjoy getting paid, if that's what you mean.
Transmuting actions into payment is the alchemy that orders our world. All things turn on the axis of a coin bond.
She touches her brow with her free hand as she says the word. Her coin continues its winding journey
I
uninterrupted.
pay bounties so that death can bring order to life. Would you help me continue the cycle?
What bounties do you
would
have?
Forge a coin bond. I know of people on these islands who must die. Their fate is already decided. The coin wishes only to collect. Dugra the Ascetic is wanted for crimes against his monastic order. His people have made a coin bond for his death.
She holds a pyre and lovingly inspects its edge, running her index finger along the curve.
The Orlin wanders the wilderness on the island of Crookspur, northwest of Neketaka.
I'll return with his head. What else do we have up here? Road north. There's another merchant over here.
Candles and bombs.
Oh, it's one of the Dawn Stars.
Shining God, light your path, stranger. Can I interest you in any of our wares? We gathered what we could. Much of our coin goes towards feeding those in need over at the temple. Thank you, sir.
This 25% stride is useful, but not 4,500 copper useful. Whale's Wind, immunity to mind affliction, -1 dexterity. Egg. Single egg. As you mentioned before being so rudely interrupted by Jody Pallegina, the game does actually kind of have this problem that it does become a bit too easy. Way too easy to reach max level and spend a solid 20% of this game at max level and having very little in the form of challenge. Devs even added challenges in combat that both in the form of challenges in the main menu, but also in the world bosses. Yes, and I have also heard, Tenwin, from what I read, one of the DLCs in this game is particularly absolutely fucking brutal from what I've heard. And it was specifically designed for max level characters, essentially. And is very much like, I think I remember looking at the Steam reviews and they're just like, do not touch this DLC unless you want to engage in the combat system. Like, heavily. Ooh, somebody hid some alcohol over here. One of the reasons I never beat this game was I hit max level a bit too soon and lost some of the wind in my sails. See, that's the advantage of playing purely for world building. I do not... Oh, cat. I don't give a shit about the combat system outside of can it facilitate me getting more money and getting more things to explore more of the world. Also, we found a new cat. +1 to all fire keyworded power levels. Well, hot damn. Aren't you just an interesting little kitty? Beast of Winter, Seeker Slayer, Survivor, and Forgotten Sanctum. All 3 of them are? Oh, wow. Okay.
All right.
Mark Vanderbidge. Who? You find a man of middle years inspecting a metal tool unlike any you've seen. He has several similarly strange items on his belt. Quite clean and orderly. They look like tools one might use to pull a tooth or shoe a horse, but much more delicate. He wears a pristine cream-colored robe, the muzzle of an arquebus visible over his shoulder. His eyes brighten as he notices you. Oh. Arcane. The man's robes shimmer with a faint trace of arcane energy. Glyphs stitched into the hems and sleeves seem to be the source of the effect.
A good day, traveler. I see you've taken an eye to my instruments. If you've any interest in the medical sciences, you need only ask.
Beast of Winter is around level 14. Seeker Slayer Survivor unlocks as you progress the main quest line to a certain point. And Forgotten Sanctum unlocks with levels, but you really need to be max levels to even have hope.
Well then, questions?
Tell me about yourself.
I'm a researcher in the medical sciences. And before you ask, no, I don't mean animancy. Neither do I mean magic, nor, gods forbid, necromancy. Medicine. Study of the kith body, its inner workings and such. I've misgivings about magic use. It's useful, I'll grant you that. But it's a crutch. Stunts our scientific development, you understand. Makes me a bit unpopular, as you can no doubt imagine. Which is why I've got this arquebus here.
No, I could definitely see that. Animancy alone gets a lot of problems, and it's basically a combination of magic and science. I can only imagine what somebody who actually wants to study just science probably gets laughed the hell out by most people. What exactly do you mean by unpopular?
A patient of mine died under questionable circumstances. One morning they were fine, and the next they were dead. Someone is trying to discredit my work. I just know it. But they won't succeed.
See, on the one hand, it does sound a little bit persecution complex. On the other, we had multiple plot lines in the previous game about people intentionally fucking over animancers just to try and make animancy look bad, so it might have a point here.
I came here to the archipelago to evade my rival's attempts at sabotage. And there certainly is quite a lot of work in the Deadfire, I must tell you.
Seeker Slayer Survivor is, however, the worst expansion as it's essentially an arena fighter. Oh, I won't spoil how, just that in your opinion. Because that, I think, is the one that I remember reading where people are just like, yeah, you can pretty much skip this DLC. It's straight up just combat. Like, so, I don't know. We might do it, we might not. We'll see how things go. We are a long way from that. If need be, I'll wait until max level before we even try it. There's some neat lore details. Okay, then we'll definitely at least check it out.
I'm a researcher in...
Oh, yes, we already saw that.
I came here. I've told you of my troubles. I suppose it's the least I can do. Settle in now. I've got a lecture prepared for just this occasion.
Oh, so these just...
Of course, it will cost you 3,000 copper.
These just straight up improve your skills. Shit, that's a good money sink.
Should you change your...
That's actually some really good fucking shit. Medical sciences in these times usually would miss important details. Yeah, bacteria wasn't even a thing yet. Yeah, germ theory was not exactly something that people figured out. Doctors still didn't, medical practitioners didn't even really bother to clean themselves very regularly either. The Magronite priest has the build of a boulder. His thick-set frame stretches his fine robes at the seams. He regards you with a steady, calm gaze, nodding in greeting.
Be welcome. We gather to honor the goddess. For we must earn the strength to endure the darkest of life's battles.
I see this Magrin treads the path of the swole. He has decided that the task set by his goddess is to get big and jacked. The Lady Muhai has passed. I was asked by her spirit to commit her body to the flames.
Muhai?
The priest's calm demeanor is shattered by a hissed utterance, and he glances around you both.
Muhai has broken with Wahana. The queen has forbade that any should have contact with her. Akira? She would be banished to the Undercity if not for her sickness. And now that has finished her.
What does any of that mean?
The sharing of resources among the tribe. For what do we let the Mataru rule us, if not to dispense Wahana in fairness?
Oh, okay, so they basically have a quasi-socialistic system as far as, to justify their caste system, basically. In the same way that medieval feudalism justified serfdom by providing protection from the knightly class to the peasants. Before the death resurgence, or whatever it's called, the phenomenon that's just before death, the person will suddenly feel significantly better. They get something to do with the body essentially giving up, so the fever tilts and symptoms. But yes, I've heard of such things as well.
A group of the Wapua came to seek Muhai's counsel, for she was known as a great navigator. Muhai was of the Aweki before she came to Neketaka. The Aweki and Wapua were enemies for many years, before Queen Onekaza's time. Muhai misled the hunting party, and they were lost. All of us are Kahanga now. To harm Wapua is to harm Aweki. As Muhai turned her back upon her kin, so we were commanded to turn ours upon her. The queen would have us join our tribes into one raised fist. She could not let Muhai's crime stand.
She may have just given them bad directions. That is not the same as murdering them.
There are those who kill by sword and those who kill by cunning. To the dead, it makes no difference.
Apologies, I didn't know.
Come. Give me the body. I will bury her beyond the great city walls. It is the best that I can do.
A lot of native names being thrown around. Yeah. I'm also getting a distinctly... I will admit, I'm getting a slight King Kamehameha vibe from the... oh, God. I wish I could scroll back up through the conversations to read. Kapunga, or whatever they're using is the name for the unified tribes. You can? Oh. Oh. Yeah, Kahanga, that was it. I'm getting a lot of King Kamehameha of Hawaii kind of, well, I did live in Hawaii for a few years, Lord Brown Bear. So yes, King Kamehameha, the actual historical figure who unified the Hawaiian Islands. Very similar vibes. Again, we're drawing on a lot of Polynesian, Southeast Asian, and a little bit of Caribbean kind of inspirations for the Deadfire. So I suppose it's not out of place. And I don't know enough about the Caribbean's history or other regions of Polynesia. I just mainly kind of know Hawaii's history because I was there for a few years. But the Kahanga are giving me very serious, like King Kamehameha vibes, very willing to use both violence and diplomacy to create a actual nation state, not just a collection of kingdoms or tribes. The queen is actually pushing to create a nation state so she can present a united front against both the Valians and the Rowattians. Is there no other way?
You are not of the Kahanga tribe. For what do you do this?
She died alone. Her spirit wandered through her home. I feel sorry for her.
And I as well. Muhai has brought great sorrow upon herself.
Is there no way for me to do as she asked and burn her body?
You would defy the word of our queen?
Can she not redeem herself?
Muhai is dead. She has lost her final battle.
Yes, but she also doesn't have much of a choice, Tenwin. She has 2 foreign forces on her doorstep. She has the Dawnstars roaming about her territory on religious missions. She doesn't have much of an option. Unfortunately, that's also going to play into the worst aspects of imperialism on her side as well. We can already see that she's putting pressure on a lot of the independent tribes to pick a side. And something tells me that if some of them pick the wrong, quote-unquote, the wrong side, she's going to come down on them like a hammer.
Who says one's chance for redemption ends with death? For some, it's only the beginning.
Now, you see, that is true because we as a watcher have talked to spirits and souls, and there are ways to improve their position and prevent them from being stuck in our world and thus becoming various problems for the living. So, see, it's not like all of Jodi's lines are bad. Who's the new Ebb? We haven't really had one. Not that I've seen, at least. Not yet.
Come. Give me the body. I will bury her beyond the
really, we're really not getting any kind of
the Kahanga tribe, and I as well.
We really have no
has
option.
Great sorrow upon herself.
Huh?
You would defy the word of our queen? Come. Give me the body. You are not of the Kahanga tribe. For what do you do this? And I as
okay,
well.
Can I get out of the conversation, though?
The word of our queen?
At this point, I would just leave the conversation and, I don't know, do something else to try and figure out what I can do. Slam dunk her into the fire. Yeah. Oh, this is gonna piss everybody fucking off, but I don't have much of a choice.
Muhai is dead.
Who says one's chance?
Come. Give me the body.
This is bullshit.
And I as well. You would defy
At the very least, give me a way out of the conversation.
I will not spill more blood for Muhai's sake. But
for fuck's sake. Fuck you. A minor loss. I don't care. We're putting her remains in the fire. You heave your grim burden into the brazier, where it lands with a scattering of embers. The body burns with unnatural swiftness, reduced to ash within what seems to be moments.
It is done. I can feel it. I am certain of it. My essence returns to me.
You can detect no change in her spectral form, now that her corpse is gone. All the same, she raises her hands to the height of her eyes, examining them.
You have greater loyalty within you than those of my own blood, Watcher. You have freed me.
There's a way to do it in a way if you convince him of it, but you require specific skills. I could have sworn that I turned on the option to show when I don't have the skills for it, just so I can know what's going on. But maybe I don't. Happy to help.
When I was yet not too sick to rise, and had hope of leaving the city, I hid away a jewel with which I could buy passage. Climb the temple steps and search among the pillars. You will find it behind a loose stone.
Because it doesn't show the unique class interactions. Oh, so you probably would have needed to be a priest in order to...
Perhaps you can make use of it. I will find my way from here. Amira's winds blow sweet upon you, Watcher. May you always find what you seek.
Well, it's a moot point. We're done here anyways. What is this? Oh. Medium shield, one-handed, +1 engage, +4 shield deflection, counts as an offhand weapon, grants fire shield once per encounter. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Oh, there we go. Is that a string? Cloak of deflection. Nice. And some gems. Pallegina is our frontliner right now, so we'll go ahead and give her the Cloak of Deflection.
What can I do you for?
Oh, crossbow.
I hear you.
Yeah. Explore the Uncharted Islands. Lanches have gone. All right, you need good enough reputation with the Huana. Oh, okay, okay. Boy, I would have loved to have gone off and gotten more reputation if you'd let me get out of the conversation. Also weird, I could have sworn we actually had decent fucking... Yeah, I guess we just need more. Alright. You know, if I was Pallegina and I just got done fighting a giant soul golem very survived, suddenly having to hear Jodi's shit would piss you off too. Yeah, a little bit. You need 2, apparently. Yeah, not surprised. I don't suppose we could sneak in and grab that shield for Adair.
Still as a pond. Ishi, quiet time.
You know what? Hold on. What if I wait until... If I wait till evening? He's still there. What if I wait till midnight? There's a lot of people walking around, but that guard is still there.
Speak freely.
Hold on. You can't... Wait, what? You need... you can if you use spark crackers, like putting another character throw the explosives, and then when he turns around, dart in. Yeah, that's what I... That's a good idea, honestly.
Of course.
Who does have the highest explosives now that I think about it? Hold on. You have a 1. You have a 1. You have a 4. Right, I knew we had somebody. Let me see here. We have them here somewhere. Where are they at? There we go. Spark crackers. Distracted for 18 seconds. Let's go ahead and quick save.
At your service.
So... Okay, hold on.
I'm listening.
Put you in stealth mode.
Quiet
Wait for it to come off.
What say?
Quick save, because if this somehow aggroes the guard, I'm going to be very annoyed. Are you a thief now, Sovani? I mean, we're acquiring resources to save the world, okay? It's also just a random shield just sitting out in the open with no vendor, no nothing, and apparently it might belong to this guy because he's a priest of Magrin, but quite frankly, as I said, I'm not on the best terms with priests, so... Whoop. Okay, that counted as combat. I should not have done that. The way it was reading, I thought you had to throw it close enough to him. The Andra trauma is real. Oh, you don't have to... Okay. We're just gonna chuck it over here. There we go. Dive in.
Give me the order.
Yep, nobody cared. Sweet.
I'm listening.
And added that to our inventory. Yep. Alright. Got a medium shield for Adair now. Good. Also, it just occurred to me. Ooh. It becomes Burning Strike, dealing 10% damage as burn. Righteous Bash. 20% chance to interrupt attacks with Magrin's Blessing on hit. Grants Purifying Flame Shields. Enemies damaged by the retaliation attack have the duration of their beneficial effects reduced. Or Greater Fire Shield. Additional freeze armor rating and retaliation attacks deal additional damage. Cool.
Captain.
I mean, no. There's no shield at all. I don't know what you're talking about. Thank God for this bag of holding that we apparently carry around with us at all times. Temple of Magrin we looked at. We looked at those. Temple of Bareth. Right.
So you defeated this ship-devouring beast all by yourself?
I'm telling you, you just have to aim for the eyes.
Winds whip violently along the cliffs below, carrying the sound of rustling trees with them. Go ahead and grab that. Oh. Hold on. Not a fan of the loot all, or rather drop all, or close to it. What? Oh. There's multiples of these. Recognize the runes as the Memento Mori, depicting the inevitability of death and the immortality of the soul. Something about stepping into the jaws of Tangaloa with a full heart. Charming prospect, I say. Takehu examines the door, stroking his chin. The doors shudder and groan as you approach. Back to the door. An elaborate etching spans the stone's width, carved faintly beneath several runes. It depicts a small crowd praying to a pair of giant eels that have coiled about a large door. An Amawa priest holds a disc by the door's face. A religious artifact blessed by Bareth is likely necessary to open this way. Okay.
Ah! Look! A monster!
wait for me.
The fuck? Oh, since I was imagining bag of holding. I mean, how else do you explain? Oh. Okay, yeah, I guess they are preparing bodies, given that this is a temple to Bareth. Particularly shallow skin, a large liver. And nobody's... Okay. You know what? I'm just not going to loot that. That sounds bad. We're not going to do that. Nope. 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 Absolutely not. Knowing my luck, I would forget that it's in my inventory somewhere and someone on my crew would eat it. I do not need that. Long incisions along the corpse's stomach and chest provide access to the organs. Uh-huh. Yeah, we're not doing that. No, no, no. Temple Guardian, Baratheon Chanter. You're looking a little suspicious there, dude. Each tablet has been painstakingly engraved, recounting the myths and parables of the Huana script. Temple Guardian, Baratheon Priest, Baratheon Chanter. What is over here? That is...
Easy now.
Why does it feel like that has a trap on it, but it's not telling me? Yeah, how did I know?
Unwell.
Ow. Thanks for that, game. So yeah, that trap did not fucking get noticed. I don't know why. Baratheon scripture, the many faces of Bareth, the scorching venom, and a bunch of Azada shells. The ailing Amawa priest regards you approach with curiosity. Barbarians have a subclass called Corpse Eater, and they get the ability to eat kith meat. Oh, Jesus Christ. That... If that doesn't have roleplay, like, comments in-game, I would be very disappointed, because that sounds insane. Yes, Brown Bear, it was on the corpses over on the other side of the room, and I specifically was like, no, I'm not picking that up. He coughs into his sleeve, stained with a spatter of slivery flecks. His eyes go large, and he stumbles a step forward. Oh, is this because... Oh, godlike plus death godlike. Interesting.
Bareth sends a messenger at long last. Finally. Truly.
He sucks in a sharp breath and doubles over, coughing hard. Palagina's golden eyes roll at the priest fawning, but she holds her tongue.
I'm blessed this day.
He chokes the words out, wheezing.
Come closer to the altar. Come inside. The temple welcomes all to worship, most especially you. I ask only for no talking. Not until we pay our respects to Bareth, to Rikuhu. Let us pray.
See, unlike Maya, Palagina knows not to shit-talk needlessly. Yes, Palagina knows that an eye roll can accomplish more than constantly putting somebody down and verbalizing it. Yeah. Well, I mean, you can even notice in her traits in the character menu, the only anti-stat she kind of has is the anti-religion one. She's not actually, like, anti any group of people. She's just pro-Valian republics. Like, it does lend itself to her more stoic demeanor, where it's like, yes, I have my biases, but I also know when to shut up about my biases.
Silent prayer? Where are the songs, I say? Did you learn this from Valians?
Ugh. I practice extremely silent prayer. Not praying. It works just as well and takes less time.
Okay, that was pretty good, Palagina. She's a patriot. Yeah. She's a patriot without being crazy about it, which, unfortunately, in times such as this, means that she's in the short list. No, to be fair, Takehu was the one who talked first. Palagina's responding to him, not to the priests. Have you played Suzerain? I have not, Sint. I think I know what that game is. I think I've seen it played, but I don't remember.
Let's show a little respect, all right?
Takehu grins and pats down a nest of his writhing hair, while Palagina's feathers ruffle as she lets out a faint sigh.
Again, I ask that you please fall silent for prayer.
We'll cross my arms over my chest and watch.
Deity of life and death, the endless devourer who encompasses all existence, hear this prayer, this voice chiming. I beseech you, Kohopa and Tangaloa, to ready this shell for sucking, purify my soul in preparation for the coming of the next cycle. Digest all of my devotion. Swallow my sorrows, even the smallest swell, so I can be spit on the morrow. And Rikuhu, Berath, my god and goddess both, the eels that churn in ceaseless cycle, the new and the next, and
I'm just gonna bow my head.
Before that came, thanks be to Berath's guiding tract. May my messages ring true.
No, it's just another word, but shucking. I just hear something else. Don't you want to be involved? No.
Be and jubilation.
He presses his hands over the center of his chest, touching the item tucked beneath his shirt, then raises his head as he cracks a frail smile.
All right. I will address your inquiries best as I can. So ask.
This is a temple dedicated to Berith. I'm assuming you also follow the dictates of Rikuhu, Kohopa, and Tangaloa.
The same. Your word, Berith. Our word, Rikuhu. We worship the twin deal. The cyclic connection of the overworld and the underworld. Life and death.
If Jodie lost her temper with B, I wouldn't stop smiling because she's cute, which would probably make her madder. Yeah, probably.
Life is Kohopa, and Tangaloa is death. Born starving, they devoured all living things, swelling larger each. When they'd swallowed all of existence, they tried to eat each other next. Now all things pass through their entrails. The end of one enters the mouth of the next, from the underworld to the overworld and back. Again and again.
It also occurs to me, and it's funny that it didn't really even occur to me until just now, because we had a conversation about different aspects of the gods across different cultures in this world. It should have occurred to me, the Wodekin Inquisition transformed into the Leaden Key in order to maintain the secret of the gods and ensure nobody uncovered that they were the Ascended Ingwithans. Now that the Leaden Key is essentially dissolving, like, thanks to the death of Theos, who was kind of the man who kept it running for 2,000 years, religious interpretation throughout Aora is going to start getting very culturally diverse in the next few generations. Because it wouldn't surprise me if the Leaden Key had infiltrators in every major religion to try and make sure that the various aspects of the gods were all kept on roughly the same path as one another. Methinks within the next few generations, Aora is going to have a serious religious fundamentalist movement. At least in terms of local religions. Sort of very similar to the Protestant Reformation of Christianity, or maybe the Great Awakening that occurred after the Christians moved over to the Western Hemisphere, and you saw the various modifications made to Catholicism by the Hispanics, or the various Protestant sects that emerged in North America. I don't think that the Aora is going to handle that very well, quite frankly. Hell, the Red Sarens and their Aothus worship might be considered like the preliminary shot in that kind of war. And going by how that went with St. Widewind, it's not going to end well for a lot of people. Could be looking at a 30 years war situation just happening a bit later timeline-wise. A Holy War, too, will be good for them. I mean, I wouldn't go that far, Brown Bear, but it might do enough to completely destroy the Leaden Key's influence over a lot of people. That might be the beneficial side effect. But in the long run, it will also lead to a lot of religious disagreements across this planet, which could have some serious repercussions for everybody involved, but that's beyond the scope of this game right now. Impressive altar. What else does this temple boast?
Under the temple, carved in the mountain's caverns, lies an extraordinary maze of catacombs. They're the hanging sepulchres, burial place for ancient Wana chieftains. The bodies are protected by Bereth's best, roaming, always, Plus, the way's sealed by the deity itself.
I mean, Lord Brownberry, it's the battle cry of authoritarians everywhere. I did what I had to for the greater good. And pretty much Theos directly says that in our final conversation with him. He basically justifies it as all the death I've caused, all the chaos I've caused, the literal nations that I have brought to their knees, the cities that I have purged with fire, all of it was better than the alternative. Like, that was literally his entire justification. I mean, you could even extend it to the individual level, as Theos basically arguing that each person that his soul consumed in order to return from the wheel was also a necessary sacrifice to continue his work. Again, it's the rallying cry of the petty tyrant across all of history. No matter how well-intentioned he might have been at the very beginning, 25 or 3,000 years ago when he started this, even by the time of the Wodekin Inquisition, he was already willing to co-sign entire cities to their deaths, just for the crime of not believing properly. Theos is the ultimate hypocrite. It's also just a case of, at some point, yes, the costs do outweigh the benefits. No matter what you actually believe, you have essentially created a international cabal, and I know how that sounds given our modern world, but that's basically what Theos had. He had an international cabal of religious zealots whose only mission was to uphold the status quo. Not political status quo, but religious status quo, I should say. His words catch in his throat, and he curves forward in a spine-racking fit, hacking until he's flush-faced, fumbling a goatskin flask to his lip. He drinks until minnow silver liquid dribbles over and slicks his chin. He wheezes, wiping a palm over his chin.
The timing's getting tighter, and there is one thing before the end. Something only one touched by Bereth can do.
What was that liquid?
Drafts mercurial.
You're drinking mercury. He grins, teeth tinged gray. You're drinking mercury. That's going to kill you. He shakes his head.
My heart cut out's going to kill me when the time's right.
What do you need? The priest presses the palm of his hand to the front of his chest. He stares, scrutinizing your face. He shakes his head, disappointed.
Coil resonates, but it's weak. You could unseal the way, but you'd die inside, I think. My chance would be lost then. Lost with your remains. Not just anyone can escape the hanging sepulchres. Alive.
Game's not giving me an option to back out, though. Kith bearing the Bereth's chime are rare. This may be the only chance you get, priest.
My time's waning fast. Right you are on that.
He sighs, wavering on his feet. He releases his grip on the pendant with a feeble
I best
nod.
not let this chance pass. There's a sacred text. The eulogy to Isaiah. It's been buried in the catacombs beneath the temple for centuries, next to his champions. I need it. Of course, the tombs, they only open to the dead, or those bearing Bereth's chime.
You can accept the quest, but be aware it's probably a bit out of your level range. I mean, I'm sure it is, but as long as there's no time limit, then I'll just ignore it for right now.
It never was added to the tomes, but it holds the final clues for my death. It's my best chance. I prayed for decades, night to day and night again. Now, here you are, just in time. Means Bereth sent you to see to my success.
I have some questions about Isir and the catacombs beneath this temple.
I'll tell you what I can.
What is the story of Isir?
He's no Juana, nor a death godlike neither, but he was a high priest of Bereth. His hair was a Diran, a hunter, chasing the undead 200 years ago. Read somewhere, one tome, he sailed to the Deadfire for a weapon, abhorrent to Bereth. Said the blade held a power most fearful.
The priest's face flushes with fervency. His voice rises in volume as he speaks until his breath catches and he doubles over into another hacking fit.
Isair fought hard for it, won the blade, but suffered grievous wounds. Bereth kept him alive till he could make it to the temple's catacombs. His champions were the ones who wrote his eulogy. Later, they were buried in the sepulchres too.
How do I enter the catacombs under the temple?
You've got to go outside, on the lower walkway. Doors sealed up tight, though. Priests before me, all death godlikes, could open it. Door requires a coil, resonating with Bereth's chime. But I haven't met a death godlike in my time. Not till you.
The priest bobs his head. From beneath his shirt, he untucks a stone-carved circlet in the image of an eel. The pendant vibrates on the length of its chain, thrumming harder the closer he holds it to you. An infinity coil on a long chain depicting two eels, each consuming the other. This pendant, when resonating with a Berethian chime, can open the gate to the hanging sepulchres.
You're my best chance. Or only, maybe. Take the coil. It'll open the crypts. Bring me Isair's eulogy, and I'll teach you all I know of Bereth's arcana.
What more do you know of the hanging sepulchres?
They're from the long-forgotten time, when there was only Juana living in the mountain. They got carved in even before the temple sprung up. Before there was Neketaka, or a queen. They're well guarded, because not all of Bereth's dead like the rest in their graves. All right, I will address your inquiries best as I can. So ask.
You mentioned something about undead in the catacombs.
The dead with their souls, they roam still. The ones who were chosen by Bereth. Not everyone's born so blessed. Sometimes, instead, you've got to die for it.
Tell me about the writing on these tomes, if you would, please.
Liturgies. Instructions for ritual preparations. When and how. Sermons. Some histories, too.
His fingers trail carefully across stone, as craggy as his skin.
All of this, it's our knowledge has gleaned through centuries of service. Now, I've got to leave it all behind for the next disciple.
What's that about preparing your soul for shucking?
End of the turn. I'm nearing it. Been working hard, preparing for weeks. You know, to die. But first, I've got to leave guidance for my apprentice, the next in the cycle, chosen to lead.
He sweeps a hand towards the stone tomes piled across the floor.
Been
You're
wasting
dying.
away for months. Can't say it's been easy, dying so soon. I thought about stopping a few times.
You're killing yourself.
Maybe you can see. I'm no death godlike. Bereth bestowed not one in my generation with a chime. Not the next, neither. A flawed messenger like me can't open the crypts. So my best chance is to die.
Let me see here. No. No. Full eulogy for the dead. Oh, yeah, we are not ready for that. Nope, 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 nope. Failure is all but assured. Let's get the fuck out of here, then. You googly for the dead.
Maya, do you recall the tales or songs of your tribe?
No. I was a hatchling when I left the Deadfire.
No, I thought perhaps...
This isn't story time, fish boy. Don't make me send a Shiza after your eyes.
Maya, if you're going to be traveling with us, please don't casually threaten other companions with disembowelment by a bird. I think I'm going to assume that that leads down into here, which means it gets you into here without having to open this. So we're not going to go in there because the last thing I need is get trapped in there. Oh, right. The Temple of Gone. I forgot that there was one over here. Yeah, the tree's an alternate entrance into the crypts. That's what I figured, Tenwin. That leads to the east. Go ahead and grab this. Sacred Stair. Wait, what? What? Where does this lead?
Candles and
Oh,
bulbs.
just, okay. Temple of God. In case you somehow fuck up the entrance. Or if you're not a death godlike, then you would probably have to use it because they'd be like, oh, you need to find a death godlike to get in. Just climb some vines to get killed by skeletons. Yeah, that would suck. Ooh.
It's you.
I have no idea who this is. You don't need to be a death godlike.
Dawn hears your prayers, surely as I do.
I can't help but notice that Gon's temple is, pretty fucking run down. Doesn't look like it's doing very well.
I can't believe it. Is that really you?
Solid meals and decent sleep have filled Wurtun's lean frame out somewhat, but the man retains a fox-like aspect around the face. He greets you with an indecisive smile, unsure of whether to be nervous or pleased. Wurtun.
Guess it's Lord now. Never thought I'd see you again.
Should have had Adir here. Why am I not remembering Wurtun? Oh, Amethyst Temple. Right. Oh my god, from all the way back at the very beginning. Oh, Jesus, yeah. Oh, it's been a while. Wurtun, what are you doing
Things
here?
got rough for us back in Gilded Vale, even after the Hollowborn curse ended. Didn't feel like I was doing much good there.
Should have had Adir or Aloth here. Yeah, but
Not until I caught word about the Dawn Stars.
Then maybe the game should let me have had 5 companions rather than 4. Or maybe, quite frankly, this is my personal opinion, maybe CRPG designers need to include an option to just have other companions who aren't in combat with you still be able to talk to the NPCs so you don't miss out on shit. Also, if you didn't kill him, Adiric, the leader of the Iron Flail, would be here. Oh, well that sucks. I tried to talk that son of a bitch down. I desperately tried to talk that son of a bitch down.
Blazes, I tossed and turned about it. I figured there couldn't be a clearer sign. So now I'm doing what I can, handing out food mostly or delivering supplies. Familiar work, I guess. Took some getting used to, working shoulder to shoulder with Raid Sarens, but it's not so hard as you'd think. Feels like I'm on the right path. Toward a little piece of redemption, maybe?
I guess everyone's chasing after Aothas these days.
You too, eh? Don't know what you have to be sorry for.
Haha, no, it's a long story, Wurtun. It's a very, very long story.
Would be nice to get some answers, maybe. Or forgiveness for getting his people killed. I don't know.
Well, good luck. And I'm glad you managed to find a place where you feel you belong.
Doing my best, Lord.
Wurtun smiles and inclines his head in a bow. Oh, dream journal. The writings on this tattered scrap of paper look like it was penned by someone still half asleep. Have you ever had a dream so real that you wanted Aothas so badly you'd do anything? A line is drawn through the writing, below which the author has scrawled, "No more cheese before bed." That... No? Okay.
I'll have
That is fruit.
Hungry?
Oh.
Come on up. Don't be shy.
Actually, I'll make a donation.
The Shining God will bless you for it, sir. That coin will help those in need.
Yeah, minor positive reputation with Neketaka, minor positive reputation with Children of the Dawn Stars. I'm fine with that. See, that might be the main difference, is my character, despite his things, knows that there are good people in the various religious churches. I've got no problem working with them. Just don't ask me to be forced to pray to anybody that you want me to. Gon has been depicted with a warm smile, but the eyes underneath his hood hold an unsettling fervor. Wow, really what?
May Aethys's light shine upon you.
Though weathered in age, this tree is dotted with buds and nascent branches, indicating new growth. High Priestess Saywin. Another cat. Get the cat. I want the cat. Gimme. Hello, kitty. Brown Nils. +3 accuracy with melee attacks. And party receives bonus health. We have so many cats. So many cats and dogs. The Dream Journal reference. I don't recognize this reference. Offerings of fruit, bread, and even wine have been set here for the temple. As you approach, a wood elf straightens over an altar to gown. Her robes mark her as a high priestess. She arches and cracks her back loudly, a satisfied grin spreading across her face soon after.
Jody, I do hope you're not getting into trouble now. Who, me? No, I wouldn't dream of it.
She smiles at the sight of a stranger. I take it that you're the high priestess of this temple.
You swine stink like shit.
She hits you with a toothy smile, eyes glittering with
I'm
amusement.
guessing you're not here to worship. Then what can I do for you?
Beyond picking a fight with a paladin of Valia. Yeah. Jody maybe wants to... Yeah. To be fair, we managed to talk everybody down during that. Oh, I think I've seen like the video version of that, Lord Brownbear. That's probably why I didn't recognize it. You must be getting a lot of people in here these days between the locals and your own followers in the Dawnstone.
Oh, yes. People are afraid, angry. Change can be frightening. But what did any of us come here for, if not a new beginning?
I'm surprised this place isn't getting a little more damp.
No more than anywhere else. No sense fighting it. The water sustains our faith, surely as it does these trees.
Do you specifically worship just Gaun, or are you also followers of Aethys's other manifestations?
Gaun's the only one that matters.
Jody? Really? You are saying this? Miss, we need to talk about your blasphemies against all the gods kind of bullshit? Really? We just had this conversation. Saywin shuts her eyes, exhales sharply, and then opens them again to regard you with a patient smile.
The shining god's got many faces, but they're all his to wear. Divine King Widewin, he saw the dawn stars, telling him of things to come. But it's gone with sickle and lantern that's come to the Deadfire. Our god's returned, and he's gonna bring balance to the world. He's gonna right all the wrongs we have suffered. Dawn will bring a new beginning for all of us when that hour comes.
I mean, judging from how he talked to me, yes, a new beginning of some kind is coming, but I do not share your optimism for the implications. Not a fucking bit. We're looking for someone. She may have been through here a few years
We
back.
receive followers of the Shining God every day. You might want to speak with Nordegand over there.
She points to her
She's
right.
been here the longest and takes care to know everyone of our faith.
We should probably have Adir in the part, or if we're doing this, do I have to run to an inn to swap out people? I probably do. Yeah, god damn it. Adir and Aloth? Okay, that's an interesting combination. Where's the nearest fucking inn? Is there one down in the Brass Citadel by any chance? Otherwise, we'll have to go all the way back to Kreen's birth. We still need to do Brass Citadel and the Gullet. Oh my god, there's no way we're gonna be done with this by the end of today. Oh god. Alright, the Wild Mare, they have beds? The bathhouse counts as one? Yeah, but the bathhouse is expensive as fuck, Tenwin. Takes 4 hours to walk across this fucking city. Holy shit. Actually, we do, because both me and Takehu have injuries, and I'd like to get rid of those. Who the fuck do I talk to?
Now. Hey, Fish boy.
Oh.
What'd I tell you last time? You're not allowed in here.
Takehu, what the fuck did you do?
Kara, have we met?
Takehu frowns, worrying one of his hairs.
Have you forgotten our little altercation so soon? How convenient for you.
He levels Takehu with a steely glare and begins to count off on the man's indiscretions on his fingers.
Last you were here, you got drunk as a hagfish in a barrel of mead.
Kara, as if this pit could afford good honey wine.
Takehu furrows his brow.
Then, when I refused to serve you any longer, you stole a bottle of my finest wine from behind the bar.
Kara, how could I let you poison your clients? Ngati is not deigned to bless a drop of what passes through here.
Then why did you come here?
You drank it all, then clambered onto the stage, pushed the dancer off, and serenaded the crowd with a sloppy rendition of My Wahaki.
Aggressive. Oh, right. The isolationist tribe.
Clamber? These legs do not clamber.
Takehu grits his teeth and points to his thighs.
Apologize.
I'm not.
Then,
No.
when I shoved you out the door and told you not to come back, you tried to kiss me.
Though he looks as if he's about to protest, Takehu thinks twice and then holds his silence.
Frankly, I'm surprised someone hasn't killed you yet.
Glintel plants his hands on his hips and does his best to loom over the large Amauan man, though the effect is less than impressive. Takehu is funny, arrogant. Yeah. I do like that everyone in the city either loves Takehu or absolutely hates Takehu. There is no in between. Pardon, Glintel, but I'll vouch for him this time.
Watcher, do you not find it odd that you need to vouch for Takehu in his own city?
No, actually, given what we've seen so far, I'm not surprised at all. But he's also very useful. And don't tell me that you're not willing to be practical when it comes to this. We traveled with Durance, for God's sake.
All right. But if he gets up to any more mischief, it's your purse on the line.
Durance may not have been involved in mischief, but that man threatened to openly burn nearly every establishment we went into.
Kara, punish me appropriately if I misbehave.
Oh, for the love of it. Jody is going to explode it. The funny thing is, because it's based on his irresponsibility rather than the religious thing, I hope we get a scene where Jody just tears into Takehu, because I'm probably going to be on her side.
I'll hold you to that, you slippery bastard. You see anything you...
Show me what you have for sale. We'll start by clearing out any loose shit that we have. We don't need that many torches. Keep Pavilion Frock Coat, sell the hat. Don't want to sell anything we might use. We have some books. Sell that. No. Keep the tablets. Sell the I'm Spedente. That doesn't matter. Keep the tools. Keep the ingredients. Keep those until we know that the new cannons are better. That's not much. But hey, let me go ahead and... Nope. If we want Aloth to be there too... I don't know. We'll send Maya and Pallegina home. Well, shit, but I'm going to be going into the Rawatayan area soon. Fuck. Hold on. Yeah, we'll do this. We'll leave Takehu out for a little bit. Maybe we'll deal with some of his interactions later. Did you notice the tick? You missed an insight check. I think it mentions that Grintel actually kind of likes Takehu. Huh. Did I? You want Takehu for the gullet. Ugh. Boy, it would be nice if I could take 5 companions rather than 4. You know what? Fine. We'll drop Jody for now and we'll take Takehu. They're both full spellcasters. We're fine with that. Then we're going to go ahead and rest. +1 cast with all level 1 spells. +1 to skills. +3 to dexterity. And a 30% chance to reflect spells. Wow. But that is expensive. We'll just go with the private dance room for 190. +1 to all skills is pretty fucking good, though. Okay. Time to reorganize again. Oh, dear God, no. Do not put Aloth in the front. Put him there. Put them in the back. I'm fine with that. There we go. Also, Aloth, my dude, my buddy. I've got something for you. Go ahead and equip that. There we go. Medium shield. Ooh, I like that. I like the the Hawana version of the Magrin sigil. That's actually kind of cool. I like that. What actually... I don't think we actually read it. There we go. A fragment of a much larger shield that has been reworked to fit a bearer's arm comfortably. The surface of the mysterious metal is warm to the touch and grows hotter when tensions rise, though its searing energy is a comfort to anyone wielding it. In the heat of battle, driving the shield into an enemy's face will leave a memorable scar. So it used to be bigger. Yes, it does... Well, I mean, they say that, but it doesn't really look like that unless the metal edging was added later and then damaged. Because otherwise... Well, I guess you could see how it would be larger here, but... For the rest of it, it seems like it was rimmed properly. Unless it was part of a circular shield that this was just the boss of the center of it, then I could see that. Yeah, that would actually kind of make sense. If you had a actual more like a hop piece or an Apis style Greek hoplite shield where this was just the center of it and was reinforced to allow for bashing attacks and then the rest of it was on the outside, that would make sense. He's still got the gladiator sword. Was there anything else I wanted to give him? I don't think so. We do need to level them up, though. Go ahead and pull up your Intimidate. Actually, we haven't been doing many Intimidate checks at all because I don't go... Intimidate usually goes under Aggression. So we'll keep his Streetwise a little bit higher and keep his Athletics going. What have you got for me, Adair? Penetrating Strike. Strikes the target with devastating force, gaining additional penetration during the next attack. Got his stances. Primary attack, knock up for... Really? You called the fucking status effect knock up? Why? What dipshit on your fucking game mechanics staff thought that was a good idea? Causes disorientated for 8 seconds, which does cause them to be flanked. Use Mule Kick on Jody. No, stop it. Stop it. I'm also pretty sure that Adair is like twice her age, Lord Brownbear. That would be very... That's a very awkward conversation I don't want to deal with right now. The fighter intensely focuses on their training, gaining the Aware Inspiration for a short time. Is now improved to the Intuitive Inspiration. So Aware is... Okay, there we go. Aware is plus 5 Perception, 50% Grace to hit, which is nice. And Intuitive gives 25% of hits to crits. Oh, wow. So that actually works really well with a rogue build. With the having the fighter and rogue combo. Okay. Tactical Barrage also gains the acute inspiration, giving plus 5 intellect and an additional power level. Not as useful for him, though. I could see how that would be great if you were running like a fighter paladin or a fighter cleric or a fighter cipher build. Adair is absolutely in his late 30s. Yeah. Mule Kick is still probably the best because it also leaves them vulnerable to flanking abilities, which we can also double down on with Finishing Blow. Plus 50% damage and plus 50% damage by percentage of target's health lost. Strike the Bell. 9 raw damage per 3 seconds for 9 seconds. Two-handed, gains staggered. Okay, so that adds that. And then we also have Gouging Strike and Confounding Strike, I would think. 3 raw damage per 3 seconds. Until combat ends. Oh, see, that's pretty good for raw damage. Not very much, but still decent. Tenwin, quick mechanics question. When they have these things on here where it splits off from a main skill, can you get both and it will apply both of them? Or if you get both, does it give you 2 different versions? One that does one and one that does the other? You choose one. You don't get all of them. Okay, you can't get all of them, I should say. All right. Fair enough. That causes Hobbled. 2 raw damage per 0.3 seconds for 10 seconds. For a total of 60.6 per raw damage. Compare that to... Yeah. I mean, that means the fight would have to go on for more than a minute for Gouging Strike to equal the same as Arterial Strike. And they take damage when they walk. Will now also bleed while moving, taking raw damage with each step. Ooh, that's pretty good. Oh, especially if you combine that with a Confusion or Frighten ability that forces them to move. Ooh. Oh, and doesn't... Wait a second. Doesn't... Smoke Cloud. Distracted. No, not that one. Not pernicious. Interrupt sick. No. I thought he had a way to inflict confusion. Doing both on a target and they bleed out very fast. Ah, yeah. Riposte. Rogues look for opening to counterattack, including incoming melee attacks that target deflection and miss have a chance of being followed by an instant full attack riposte. That does sound good for him. That does indeed sound good for him. But I think Arterial Strike, because if we use that after he's knocked somebody prone or while he flanks somebody so it has a good chance of hitting, that's going to be great for applying raw damage to any target, really. As for you, Aloth, let's go ahead and keep boosting your Arcana. Go ahead and keep boosting your History. Power level 4. He gains access to the Minor Grimoire Imprint, which is pretty useless. Flame Shield, which is decent. Dimensional Shift. Minor Arcane Reflection. 100% chance to reflect against spells for 60 seconds. Does sound useful. I also feel like... each point of concentration the character possesses will prevent a single interrupted effect from being applied. Yeah, I feel like that's kind of vital if he's going to be a pure wizard. But in addition to that... They cannot move, but they will inflict crush and corrosion damage and immobilize anyone they hit. That does sound good. Iron Skin also sounds decent, but a straight +5 to armor rating. Pull of Aora. Confusion. Confused for 30 seconds. Attacks hit friendly and hostile characters. Confusing them. I feel like that would be useful. It is a faux AoE, so that's a pretty good way to do things. Creates a ghostly double that copies the caster's weapons and appearance. Maybe. I'm thinking Maura's Writhing Tentacles, actually, because the ability to inflict damage, inflict corrosion damage, and immobilize anybody they hit. That's a really good way to ensure that Adair gets his flanks, that we get our flanks, that everything, that just in general the enemy is forced to take additional damage. I like this. Yes. All right. And everybody's got the +1 to skills, which is very nice. I like the tavern music. Mara, the arch...
What does water shaping feel like, Takehu?
Akara, it is like making love to a bloom of jellyfish. Like 1,000 wet kisses with a delicate caress under the skin.
I may have missed my calling.
Oh, I think... Okay, Maya, you are far more forward than your brother was. Holy shit. He got a little flustered anytime somebody mentioned stuff like that. Meanwhile, you're like, oh, fuck yeah, I'm down. Where were we? Right. Temple of Gone. Oh, except I don't have Jody with it. Fucking hell. Why is it every conversation I could think of, I'm like, I wish I had one more character slot just so people could talk. Maya's in the Navy. She's heard worse. Fair enough. Also, it never... The Rawatayans have kind of struck me as a very, shall we say, passionate people.
Here for a meal? Just get in line, dear. Ain't no trick to it.
Hey, there's a lady I'm looking for. Came from Deerwood.
Adair waves a hand in the old woman's face as though expecting cataract she does not appear to have.
Short, got a bad temper. It goes by Alava Mazzy. Heard of her?
I know an Alava, but that ain't a surname.
No?
Adair's jaw shifts sideways to gnaw on his pipe stem. I mean, Adair, it's been well over a decade. She might have gotten married.
Not real warm, that one. Stop by unannounced, you get a pistol up your nose when she answers the door.
Sounds like she... sounds like she's expecting you, Adair. I imagine some of the settlers here have to keep their guard up. It's understandable.
Yeah, that's her. So, she's living with her, husband, then?
Deerwood and welcome, yeah.
Not that I noticed.
Adair exhales a surprising amount of air.
Must be laying low.
Just that boy of hers.
Adair's body goes perfectly still. It seems to waver in the breeze.
She's got a son? How old would you say? Like a little boy?
Adair? Adair, no. Please tell me you're not a deadbeat dad. Adair. No, my dude. Aloth's eyes go wide with shock, then delight. He's watching Adair the way a cat watches a wounded mouse. Aloth, no. Stop. Stop.
I'd be happy to help you with the math.
Oh, no. Adair? Adair, explain.
Just curious.
Adair's grip on his pipe has caused the color to drain from his knuckles. Oh, no.
It's been years. He must be a young man by now.
Oh, no.
That's something. Well, thanks for your help.
Adair? Adair,
Don't
we
you
need
want
to...
to know where to find her?
Yeah, I was just about to ask.
Aloth, save the comments for after we leave.
She's in Hasongo, last I heard. Got a little plot of land out there.
I guess we'll look that way then. Much obliged.
Adair? Adair? Adair?
What's on your mind?
Why can I not talk? Adair, we need to have a conversation about this shit. Oh, can we talk to Wharton again? Oh, I was hoping he would comment about Adair being here. Oh, well. Oh, God. Adair, what the fuck have you done? Adair.
You know how I've been saying there's nothing more important to me than us freeing you from Bareth's bonds?
Let me guess. Suddenly finding out you have a kid is going to put a strain on that, and I can understand why.
Well, I meant that. I did.
Adair's breath lingers in his chest, and his mouth hangs ajar, throwing his statements into immediate doubt.
But there's this other thing I need to see about. On the way, like. I was gonna tell you.
It's only fair.
I'm glad you see it that way. This thing with the gods holding your soul for ransom, we're still gonna take care of that. Right after.
Of course we will. They're kind of holding my soul for ransom, and at the same time, not much I can do about it. Need to pop off early today. Catch you later. Catch you later, Brown Bear. Have a good one. See you tomorrow for Endless Space 2.
This woman, well, love's not the right word, but she was something to me once, back in Gilded Vale. When I was mayor of Deerford, I had this vision of what I wanted it to look like. It was gonna be what Gilded Vale was, before the legacy. And in some ways it got there. I was proud of that.
That's good.
But it didn't feel like I thought it would. Come to realize there was someone I needed to show it to.
Yeah, good luck with that, because it sounds like she's pretty well established out here, dude.
Lava. She'd have been about the last person left in Deerwood who'd have seen what I made and understood. Last I saw her, she was going to New Hayamar. Went looking for her there, only to find that she'd left a long time ago. Anyway, I don't expect you to understand, but I gotta know she ended up all right.
Well, from the sound of it, she ended up with a son.
Yeah, that's something. Coming out of Deerwood during that time.
I mean, yeah, not exactly like that was a good time to be trying to have a child around there.
When I knew her, she had another little boy, just a baby. But the legacy deprived him of a proper life. I never found out what happened to him. But with the Hollowborn, he didn't have to ask.
Well, I mean, we kind of would want to know now because we did follow Hylea's instructions on how to deal with that, so...
He got a brother, though.
Adair falls quiet, blinking several times before noting your continued presence. Adair, we can do this, but you're sure you want to know where this leads?
No, but I don't see a way to let this go. Least a way's not now. Last time I saw Alava, we got friendly. Now she's got a son.
All right, let's keep moving. Aloth, no jokes. You can make jokes when we get back to the ship and we're leaving the town. Until then, keep your mouth shut. All right, Brass Citadel time. Why do I actually feel like if I bring Jyoti on Adair's quest, it's going to actually get very awkward? The Brass Citadel. Yeah, the map is so good.
What is your business at the Brass Citadel?
Oh, Jesus. I met Hazanui Karu at the palace. They requested my presence.
You're the Watcher. The one who nearly caused a riot in Queensbirth.
His mouth quirks in a grin.
Grand Secretary Atsura wants to meet you. His office is on the lower level of Imperial Command. Up the stairs.
Oh. So, with the locals, we have what appears to be some political conflict between the queen and her brother. For the Valians, there's some definitive stress between the more merchant-minded ones and the more military-minded ones. And it looks like there might be a bit of a political divide here between the civilian leadership and the military
Once you're
leadership.
inside, go downstairs through the room on the right.
What about the Hazanui?
Her office is at the back of Imperial Command. She is busy organizing other matters.
He clears his throat.
But I am sure she will grant you an audience.
Good to know. Thanks for that. What?
Battle for glory and Rautai.
Faithfully done, Emiani. Report to Wakoyo Nui when your hands and your temper have healed.
That's the last time I ship out with some soft-handed runt.
What happened
Come
here?
to gawk, too. My punishment's over, you know.
He looks away and crosses her arms carefully to hide her burned hands. Apologies, I didn't mean to upset you.
I shouldn't take my anger out on you. It's not your fault I punched my captain.
There's an Orland peddler over there that's got some nice dialogue. Okay, give me a moment. It's as if the mere mention of the incident takes her back to it. Her face darkens with anger, and a bitter snarl transforms her features.
Maybe he shouldn't have insulted my aim. Like I don't know the difference between a smooth and rifled bore.
She shakes her head, quietly stewing. Seems a bit drastic.
He asked if I knew where I was pointing my cannons. I told him to bend over in front of one and we'd find out. It escalated from there. Anyway.
I mean, I have some experience with dealing with military people from being raised amongst them, and that sounds like a particularly stupid fucking thing to say to your commanding officer.
I'm not reporting back to Wakoyo, that's for sure. I crewed on mercenary ships before this. Come to think of it, that suited me better.
She grins impishly.
Still a scramble-root at heart, I guess. But I'm plenty experienced. Maybe I'll see if anyone's looking for an expert cannoneer.
I could always use an experienced cannoneer on my crew. He looks you up and down, considering your
Don't
offer.
take this the wrong way, but I only crew with captains I know. Either personally or by reputation.
I can vouch for the captain here. Keeps a tidy ship of misfits, but we're still floating.
That is, I think, the closest thing to a compliment we've gotten out of you, Maya. Thank you. Maya offers an encouraging
I
shrug.
could use some mischief. I've about had it with the uptight stiffs around here anyway. I'll see you on board, Captain.
Crosses her forearms in salute to you, then makes a rude gesture at the rest of the district. In the sense that she's actually got 5 stars rather than 4. Ooh, we might have just found our best cannoneer. Fleet Master's office, Orland Peddler.
Oh.
He looks up at you and jumps.
Sorry, you startled me a little.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. She blinks at your twisted visage, laughing with a bit of
You in the
chagrin.
market for some supplies, friend?
Why are you working at a Rautayan
Because
outpost?
I'm from Rawatai. Or, to be more specific, my ancestral home's been part of the Empire for decades. Few generations now.
Huh. I wasn't aware that the lands of the Orlands had been conquered by the Rawatai at one point.
The usual way, I guess. Their soldiers beat ours.
What's it like living under Rautayan
I
rule?
don't know. I never known anything else. We've got the Rawataians' fancy new irrigation canals now, and the roads have gotten better. The ones leading into Takoa, anyhow.
She pauses, lost in thought, and
Funny
smirks.
thing is, the further you go on them, the nicer everything gets, and the more it all looks like this.
She nods at the stone walls and towers. Does any of that bother you? She glances around to see if anyone else is in earshot.
I used to. When I was younger, I grew up hearing stories of the time before from my grandparents.
Oh, wow. And yeah, Orlands only live for about, what, 30 to 40 years? So this is relatively recent. Probably no more than about 60 years or so.
But they were children themselves when Rawatai took over.
Okay, maybe closer to 80.
Some wax romantic about the old days. Anyways, I'm just trying to make a living. That's why I'm here, after all.
Let's get
That's a
back to
better
business.
subject. I've got all sorts of goods and supplies. Take a look before you head
50
back
to
out.
80 years for Orlands. Oh, okay. Not as bad as I thought. For some reason, I thought they were shorter lived than that.
Take a look.
Gauntlets of Ogre Might. That's always nice to see. Ring of Greater Regeneration. That's what? 1 HP per 2 seconds? That's not too bad. +2 intellect, +5 accuracy against vessels. Summons a random... Ugh, but it's got charges remaining. Fuck that. Oh, Sigil of Death Wardstone. Why do I have a feeling we should probably have those on us at all times? Just a thought. Flint and Tinder, Hammer and Chisel. You know what? We'll take the lockpicks too. Why not? Oh my god. Could you not just put them in... I should have just put them in the stash. There we go. Charm of Bones makes me imagine that to summon a vessel you need to break a bone. That is what I... That actually would make a lot of sense. That would make a lot of sense. Ooh, oh, okay. So we came in through here. Powder House, Docks, Gunsmithy, Officer's Lounge, Imperial Command, and that leads to the Gullet. Check the crew menu. She's not 5 stars. Why? I really wish I could... Yeah, there we go. She's a 3-star cannoneer, a 1-star helmsman, and a 1-star deckhand. Yes, she is. Huh? But it doesn't... There's only 3 5 stars total on her... Oh, okay, I see. I see what you're saying. Okay, so everyone could get a maximum of 5, or at least high-end crew can get a maximum of 5. Okay, so best case scenario, you can only have a 4-star total. Oh, okay. Okay. She is the exception. So if we put her as a cannoneer, the only person who's going to be better as a cannoneer would be someone who's a 4-star cannoneer, basically. That would be the only upgrade. Okay. Well, you're a 1-star cannoneer. You're a 1-star cannoneer. Novus cannoneer, Novus cannoneer. You have higher experience. We're going to go ahead and put her there. Okay. Drunkard. Religious. Another drunkard. Loyal. Irreverent. Professional. Fearless. Rowdy. Chatty. Chatty. Malicious. Ooh. Starting to think maybe we should take her off the list then. And fearless. He's a cannoneer, cook, and a deckhand. You know what? We're replacing you with the these Zarip. He can work as a navigator? Really? Those all have 2. They all have 2. Everyone has 2 or more, so that's actually better than Aura the Mad. She's not really worth it. Neither is Vanese. And neither is Worthless Idiot. Doesn't have any lines due to being a Zarip. Ah, well. Powder House Guard?
I'm sorry, but this area is strictly off limits.
Blonde Amawan, for some reason, looks really weird due to their skin color. The young guard draws himself up to full height, crossing his arms. What is this place?
Private property of the Royal Deadfire Company, that's what.
Yes, you warily. Alright, fine, fine. I know when I'm not wanted. Cat! 20, ooh, 20 health restored per kill. You regain some health when you deal Killing Blow. Ah, if it was a party's regain health on Killing Blow, that would actually be kind of interesting. Also, go ahead and drop these. Actually, keep those in my quick item slot in case we run into anything.
Yes, of course.
Guards, you look shady as shit. Fisherman. Some booze. You have a name. Oh, superstitions around your kind you must hire if hearing them. I do.
Beat it. I don't have time to chit-chat.
The thin Valian glances over your shoulder with an expected frown. I'm surprised a Valian's hanging out here. He stares up at your head, distracted, before quickly turning away. Oh, right, that's this asshole. I'm in the market for some gloves, haven't he? He eases back, taking your measure with a critical eye.
Fasina sent you, didn't she? Bostinago, just for these?
Shaking his head, he pulls out a pair of fine gloves from his pocket, studying them with evident disappointment.
Soft as down, but not a single fence willing to pay me a fair price. Maybe they've got imp stink all over them.
Or maybe they know the fact that you stole from an Archmage and ain't nobody crossing that fucking line in this city. These are an Archmage gloves. Just for these is a very... Yeah, like, I would also suggest you'd probably be better off trying to find somebody at the port who'd be willing to buy it while they're leaving so that hopefully they can stay as far away from the Archmage as possible. Yeah, just for the... Yeah, no, dude, you do not want to... Archmages are petty bastards. Incredibly petty bastards. That won't save you, probably. Most likely. You're going to have a hard time selling an Archmage's gloves for fast coin.
Should have guessed these were bad luck. Well, it's too late to go making smart decisions, isn't it?
Are you going to be the first person I'm going to have to smack around? He opens his mouth to say more, but something in the southwest distracts him, and his expression fills with
Here
dread.
he comes, and I'm too late. If Hamuto doesn't give me an extension on my debt, I'm a dead man.
Keep your mouth shut and follow my lead. Glancing at you, Berteno shrugs and swallows down a lump in his throat. Oh, okay. He brought a small fucking army with him. That's great. A unit of steely-eyed sailors approach the docks, clutching pikes and firearms with quiet professionalism. At their head stands a tall Amauan in a mustard-yellow uniform. He turns his attention between you and Berteno.
So, Berteno, you hired a mercenary, or else a negotiator. That coin should have gone toward your debt to me.
Hamoto rubs a long scar that extends along the length of his neck.
No, I didn't. That is, I would never go behind your back.
Of course, he's directly linked to the Deadfire Company, so we've got some problems here. Berteno, shut up. The adults are talking. Bermudo's eyes brighten and he nods. The soldiers near him chuckle with approval. Oh, that actually gained us...
I like dealing with people of substance.
He nods thoughtfully. Would be to run across the city to return the gloves before Archimir notices. Yeah.
This is a private matter. Your interference is unnecessary.
Hamuto spreads his hands in a peaceful manner as his soldiers level their guns at Berteno. What are your plans for Berteno?
Indentured servitude. I trust this is a more honest and respectable alternative than any pursuit he would take on his own terms.
Except I know that's just another word for slavery, so we're really not gonna be going with that argument. No. You're already sounding a bit more reasonable than I was led to believe.
Do I? One can be adherent to the tenets of maritime law and still be seen as a monster.
I mean, it's very obvious you have no problem with slavery, which does make this a bit of an awkward situation. Perhaps I can pay what's owed.
You must care a great deal for this insufferable little worm to stake your purse on his freedom.
Hamoto taps his lower lip in thought.
400 pyres are what Berteno owes.
Oh.
And I will accept that sum to have this sorry business concluded.
What else do you do? If they pay you money, you know you can't pay you back. Yeah, I mean... I don't know. I guess it's the time period because indentured servitude has... I mean, even if they said, yeah, we're taking him to prison where he'll work as a laborer, it's like, okay, at least then it's a legitimate, well, semi-legitimate prison sentence. But having it be officially declared as indentured servitude just sounds like debtor's prison and slavery by another name. I know there's only degrees separating those two, but it still feels worse given the time period we're in. They could easily ship him to a plantation and just, you know, let him die. Especially if we're following with the Caribbean references in the Deadfire. The slave plantations in the Caribbean were brutal by standards that even places like the American South and other regions in South America did not come anywhere close to. Payment is agreed, 400.
Then our business is concluded.
Hamoto signals his men to stand down. After a hateful look, they lower their arms and follow their captain's lead. Okay, Berteno. You stupid ass.
I can't believe I'm finally out of debt.
Minor positive reputation gained with the Principi San Patrina. Oh my god, he's a fucking Principi. Working off a debt is a neutral concept, as it 100% depends on who is making the demand. True. True. I guess it's a case of... It's very much a case of if he owed money to the local Hawana, and one of their actual civil administrators said, yeah, no, you're in debt to the state, you will work off that debt, and then you will be free. I'd almost be totally fine with it. It's not ideal, but it's better than nothing. But this is a colonial military economic venture. It's colonialism in its purest form. And that has me very skeptical about their concept of working off the debt.
For the first time in my life, I'm free.
Berteno clasps his hands together, tears brimming at the corners of his eyes. Yes, and all it took was coin out of my pocket.
Perfetto. Problems like this always work themselves out in the end.
He is insufferable,
If you see
Tenwin.
Fasina, tell her I'm hiding out with some principy friends. Also, catch!
He tosses you Rakoa's fingers with casual disdain. +1 dexterity, +1 sleight of hands grants spark crackers. Startling and confusing everyone in the area. Silent use, loud impact. You stole a party favor. You...
It's a new Bertenno all the way. Pirate Bertenno doesn't get himself in anyone's debt.
Laughing in a full voice, he makes a hasty exit. If I encounter this man on the high seas and he tries to attack me, I am going to destroy his ship and leave him in the ocean. Alright. Oh, right. We never even picked up what was over here. Oh, we're maxed out on cannon and repair supplies. Ooh, that's a big cannon. The metal's as smooth as marble and polished to a shine. Routine guard. Anything at the end of the dock? Nope. Uto's gunsmithy. Hello, hello. The man greets you with arms crossed over his chest. He has a massive scar tissue where his left eye should be, and his hands are knotted with bulging tendons.
Looking for a pistol or an arquebus? Rawatai makes the finest guns in Aora, and I make the finest guns in Rawatai.
I don't know. The Magrin Smiths of the Deerwood might fight you for that title, but I trust that you do pretty good. What makes your guns so special?
Craftsmanship.
He holds out his knotted hands, keeping them entirely still as he speaks to you. They're covered in small burns and scars that blur the varied pigmentation of his skin.
If you ask my superiors at Imperial Command, they'll tell you our main exports are saltpeter and metal. Those are just things. They're prized because of what we do with them.
He reaches under the counter and pulls up a blunderbuss, holding it out for your inspection with his ever-steady hands. It is a high-quality piece. I personally believe that indentured servitude when it comes to the Rautines depends on the captains themselves. Some of them might keep up the agreement. Valians, however, likely to abuse the agreement. That is very true. I could see the Rautine having a few more professional standards in regards to it, but they're also more blatantly and openly imperialistic, which also means that some of their captains might be worse. Overall, it's just too much of a roll of the dice.
Rawatayan industry is about discipline, precision, mastery of a careful art. Those qualities guide all that we build.
He puts the blunderbuss away. Let's see what you have. The Dragon's Dowry. Now that just sounds amazing. Ooh, -5 ranged accuracy, lower crit, reduces deflection against melee weapons. However, it has veil piercing, legendary. 60% damage, 15 accuracy, 4 penetration, grants the Dragon's Breath. Yep, once per rest. 10% chance for the wielder to suffer 10 burn damage on launching an attack, but 20% additional damage is burn. 42,000. Jesus. Fine arquebus, exceptional arquebus, fine blunderbuss, fine pistols. I really can't afford fine pistols right now, unfortunately. Gunpowder, ingredients, stun bomb. They have some arbalists, spike crackers, grenades, exceptional blunderbuss. Scordeo's Trophy. Loses critted damage. Gains damage, accuracy, penetration. Scoring hits with this weapon grants a stacking 5% reduction in recovery time with melee weapons for 30 seconds. Oh. Well, I prefer the pistols, but this would be great on fucking Pallegina. We have her do what I do with my pistols. We'll have her open with a blunderbuss shot and then switch over. It is a pistol? Oh, it is! I just assumed it was a blunderbuss. Ooh. How expensive is this? Oh, God. Never mind. Still something to consider for later. Oh, dear. Yep, arquebus, cannon shot. These guns look ancient, but the metal is still polished and the wood perfectly smooth. Oh. Where do you think you're going? I'm not going anywhere. I just want to take a look at your guys' wares. See, it's an exceptional blunderbuss. Very nice craftsmanship. Scrolls are filled with meticulous diagrams of rifles and pistols. Apprentice gunsmith. Okay, nothing else to see in here. Yeah, we are a long way off from having the disposable income to go buying
I
uniques.
thought Juana didn't believe in personal property. Yet you've brought quite the assortment of leather necklaces.
Kara, just so. But not all of them go around my neck.
In that case, perhaps you could remove them from my sleeping berth.
Oh, it is no burden, my friend. You are free to borrow one.
Yeah, you're barking up the wrong tree there, man. I don't think he's into that. What do we have here? Officer's Lounge and a Fleet Master's Office. Oh, poor Aloth. He is surrounded by people who have no sense of propriety right now.
Suddenly she's not.
Meet her eye when you've got bad news. She respects that.
Someone named Pero is trouncing his opponents at
I think she
Pazathal.
likes me. I spent most of my career escorting foreign ships.
Many have.
Manifest show saltpeter received from Rautai and raw foodstuff
She's
shipped
got
back.
nothing against scramble roots, but don't stare at her hand.
Fine guard, lounge server. Service a reserve for officers of the Royal Deadfire Company. No surprise there, so I'm guessing if we
this
talk
is
to...
about the Hazatoa tournament, I've got nothing to do with that, all right? I just serve the drinks.
He holds up his hands with an exhausted resignation of a man who's made his case many times. What's this about Hazatoa?
Some of the soldiers and sailors get to making unwise bets when they play.
He rolls his eyes.
Like I said, I keep out of it. None of the regulars are looking for new opponents, though, if that's what you're asking. All the better for you, trust me.
So, why do you work for the Royal Deadfire Company?
They always pay on time. They're run by the Ronganui, so they should, right?
He grins.
Also, I'm from a town near Tekoa. Rautai's full of all kinds of kith, not just Amawa. But the Amawa have a long history at sea. They make up a lot of sailors and soldiers, including most of the ones that ended up here.
I'm taking it that I'm not going to be able to order anything from here.
You're a captain working for the Royal Deadfire Company, right? Sure you are. Even if you're not, I've heard your name enough to think you are.
Oh. He winks. I wink back. He can't tell because he can't see my eyes.
Try to raise your skewers, if you can handle the heat.
Okay, that's nice. Beta Chiora, 25% crit manage, -1 dexterity. Adiran Mead, 1 armor rating, -2 on weapons, +2 to might, +1 to all power level. Yeah, we saw that elsewhere for, I think, 1,000 each. He gives the 5% discount. Candied nuts. +2 dexterity, +2 perception. They also give really high crew morale. Oh, I never actually read. Yeah, the vessel. Morale measures the crew's overall attitude and sense of common purpose. Mental and emotional health of the crew is vital to success in combat. Poor morale may lead to brawls among the crew and even a mutiny. Oh boy. Fun times. Well, nothing in there to worry about, at least. Fleet Master's office. Let's see what we've got in here. Diran Bodyguard, Rautai, Valian Bodyguard. Interesting that there's so many different groups in here. Description reads, that which grows is strengthened by Coral Mason Porco. Map shows shipping routes from the Deadfire to Rautai. We can't get into there just yet.
Clear skies, my friend.
Wakoyo crosses his arms and tips his head to the side. A long scar traces a path down his face, leaving curving sharply where his cheek rises with a smile. Savani, captain of the Defiant, at your service.
I know of you already, Captain. Maya, I assume you vouch for your new captain.
He turns his focus towards Maya and Ishiza.
On occasion. Why?
Your ship, unmoored from Deadfire politics, is an asset I would grasp with both hands. An arrangement can help us both. You will empty the seas of competition in exchange for profit.
There's an achievement for surviving a mutiny. You even gave a buff. Infamous Captain, +3 Intimidate, +5% damage. Low-level Kith enemies may become terrified at the beginning of combat. That's actually a really good buff. Holy shit. But I'm guessing it involves killing most of your crew in order to fucking get it, which, that probably is not a good thing. Unless you just take a bunch of shitty crew and then purposely tank your morale and then just shoot them all. and then buy supplies and staff it properly after that. I don't know. I mean, you have to incite a mutiny, which is really hard, and then kill them. It's also very out of character for my character. Like, that seems bad. Aren't you afraid that privateering will start a war?
An official reckoning is drafted to account for every cannonball shot in the name of Rauatai. Our paperwork is most thorough.
Ah, I can see why they're doing well then. They have mastered bureaucracy.
For every ship sunk, there is a legal justification. Our enemies will know the war is started on the day we fail to turn in our paperwork.
There's always the sudden psychosis roleplay angle. Yeah. I don't like that roleplay angle, but I mean, it does always exist. What bounties do you have?
A Scylla wave skipper is your first target. A pirate shirking any pretense of lawful conduct in the open seas.
Wakoyo grimaces and itches at his scar. I'll take the bounty.
Most excellent. A Scylla commands the Voyager River Dragon, which pesters a group of islands to the southwest of Port Mage.
Sounds good. So many bounties. Now, Tenwin, you did say that all of the bounties already exist out in the world, right? So if we run into them over the course of other things, we'll just get the option to turn them in later when the person asks for them, right?
Ranga carve his name into a rock?
The Ranga Nui, and it's a commemoration to show what he built.
Oh. Then did your Reparo also write their names on other stones? For what do you squawk and gloat over a heap of stones? Akira, you Rautaians are strange cousins indeed.
A well-dressed Huana woman shakes her head at the Rautaian man. The tone of their debate is spirited, but not unfriendly.
The brass citadel is a marvel of modern engineering. With the gates barred and the cannons primed, it can withstand any attack and weather any storm.
He and his Huana friend turn to regard
Surely
you.
you can see what a fine stronghold this is.
It's an excellent fort. Sturdy. Built to last from the looks of it.
I'm sure someone once said the same about the ancient places in Deadfire, before storms and volcanoes made ruins of them.
Pro Rauta. Is that in favor of what I said? Or because that doesn't line up with what they're saying. Okay, moving on.
We transformed a rocky cove into the best defended harbor in Neketaka. Such achievements must be celebrated.
This rocky cove was once a prized fishing spot for the Riparu. These Rauataians act as if every bare islet is merely awaiting a fort or a farm. They cannot look at anything without planning to change it.
I mean, culturally you're correct, but in terms of actually utilizing your guys' land properly, especially in an archipelago that lacks land, there seem to be a lot of very empty, very unused islands that your people could probably actually use a bit better rather than just letting them be and not doing anything with them. And also, quite frankly, leaving them open to people like the Rauataians and the Valians just moving in and saying, well, nobody's here. We may as well take the island.
To strive is to survive. Those who would achieve greatness must make the world a better, more ordered place than they found it.
Why change the world when you can learn to live in it the way it is? This is what my people have done for thousands of years.
No. We should ask what provides the biggest benefit, a fishing spot or a harbor. I don't like any of these, really. I mean, I kind of agree with number 4, but I agree in number 4 in a way that kind of sides more with the Rauataians. It's just more of a sense of, yeah, your people are going for the big imperialist angle, but the imperialist angle isn't the only way to improve things. I suppose you should ask your own people what provides the greatest benefit, a fishing spot or a harbor.
Must we sacrifice the needs of the few to the whims of the many, then?
I mean, in a monarchy, by definition, no, but aside from, I think, the Dear Woodens, nobody's even really tried with a large-scale republic. I mean, the Valiants have, but they're divided into more of a confederation than a true republic. They're the republics, plural, after all.
It's like a good discussion. Thank you for indulging us.
Well, at least everybody parted amicably. That's nice. For the glory of Rauatai and the strength of the Ranganui, 2818 AI. You have a name. Why do you have a
All this
name?
trouble over a tablet of fucking stone.
Right.
If my company's standing wasn't on the line, I would have written this one off as a loss already.
Tamura nurses her brow and motions for you to speak. Do you have any ideas on retrieving the Harappo
I
epic?
heard tell of Ephron, a thief with a penchant for making house calls. Word has it that Ephron made his way inside of Archimere's manor and later died. Now his soul is bound to the fortune-telling machine in the dark cupboard. Strange fate.
Oh, so that's interesting. Tell me about yourself as well.
I help finance expeditions around the Isles, which often means keeping an ear to the ground.
I'll check my reputation after we're done talking to her.
Not very romantic
Then
from
when-
behind a desk, but Rawatai's campaign could use the extra coin.
I have some questions about the Harappo epic.
It's a handsome piece of rock, which some call valuable. I won't dispute that point if the value goes to Rawatai.
What does the Royal Deadfire Company want with the epic?
I suppose it's no secret that we're after more than some arbitrary cultural touchstone. We're looking for a route to Ukaizo.
All right, I'll give her props for actually just being upfront with it.
Stands to reason that ancient lore would be a key to finding the place.
Do you know what kind of defenses Arkemir has inside his manor?
Arkemir is a magical savant and a recluse. That makes for a very dangerous combination.
Yes, having dealt with Consul Hot, yeah, trust me, it's not a particularly nice outcome when those two particular personality points align.
He relies on imps and ironclad constructs to maintain the estate. When you've lived as long as Arkemir, I suppose trust becomes a problem.
Ha ha ha! If Consul Hot's anything to go by, you have no idea.
Fine by me. I'm looking forward to the day when the Harappo epic is someone else's concern.
Could the epic really be a path to Ukaizo?
When it comes to finding the Lost Island, we can't afford to neglect any lead. The Ranganui seeks to saddle the weather and harness the storm. If there is a place where this can happen, it is Ukaizo.
Mara shrugs and wipes off the breast of her uniform. Genuinely brutal to deal with, especially this early. Is that Verse, the voice actor? I mean, maybe? You and Tehe don't seem to get along.
All of her pretenses of cultural pride are a means to an end.
Maybe. I don't know. Some voice actors are very noticeable and some are not. It sounds close. It could very well
Like
be.
the rest of the Huana, she isn't above exploiting any advantage if she can profit from it.
That doesn't seem entirely fair. Many of the Huana are just trying to get by, especially the independent tribes.
As you say.
Could also be Mercer, though. You never know. You never know. Man has too big of a range. Sometimes you can point out a Mercer voice easily, and other times...
Quiet from afar. Malice lay behind their eyes. Their hearts hid treachery. Mighty winds sent us north to the shores of Rawatai, till our 5 ships bore us out to Deadfire once again.
Okay, buddy. You just keep on shouting at nothing. I'm just gonna leave now. I almost hope Kana makes a, oh, shit. You're right, Tenwin. Sorry. Reputations. What are we looking for? Royal Deadfire Company is a 1. Principi's a 1. Neketaka's a 1. Hawana's a 1. Valian Trading Company is 1. We are maxed out in Port Mage, and we are maxed out, I think, on Childhood of the Dawnstars, because I don't see it getting any higher, but I could be wrong. How are you? Oh, how the companions are looking at me? Adir, we're good. Jody, we're good. Aloth. Ooh, really? Hold on. I wish I could... Why can I not... They must have... I don't know what I chose of that. I wish I could mouse over it and see more. I don't know why that particular singular choice is worth so much negative. But it's a bit fiddly. Careful. There we go. Really? I was just trying to show that they actually had a bit of... Okay, whatever. Wait, I thought he liked tradition. What the fuck? Oh no, he's wary of traditionalism for its own sake and distrusts those. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Okay. We're good with Seraphin. Good with there. Hers just... she's very passionate. A lot of her choices have very high increases and also very large decreases. Okay, Pelagina, we didn't have much of a choice. We were literally staring Rimmergand in the fucking face. But I understand why you don't like that. Okay, we're good. Ooh, the air around the coral thrums with life-sustaining magic. I mean, it would have to, otherwise the coral would be long dead. Oh, what do we got in here? That leads outside.
I'll pick it.
That is a pickaxe, just randomly in a box. People over there. Oh, weapon master. Cool pirates, we have to be ready to defend our cargo. People who decorated this place went hard. I mean, yeah, if you're gonna create like a fucking coral display and then keep it alive through magical means, that's fucking pushing the envelope there. Oh, Imperial Command lower level. Who are you? A young woman with a... This has got to be one of the only front-facing ones that looks halfway decent. And I think it's because she's wearing a... I can't tell if that's hair or if she's wearing like a hood. The young woman with a bright, wide smile and eyes to match raises her hand and gives you a quick but enthusiastic wave. Then, with an exaggerated look of embarrassment, she stops herself and crosses her forearms over her chest.
I always forget that part. Say, you're the Watcher of Cadnua, aren't you? I've never met anyone famous before.
She looks like she wants to eat you. I mean, to be fair, the Amauan have shark teeth, so that does kind of come up every time they smile.
Except the Hasanui. She yells at me sometimes.
The Admiral yells at you.
Oh, all the time.
She screws her face up into a look of mock seriousness, but she can't help from smiling.
Where's my white leaf? Stop daydreaming. So bore me, if you lose the ledgers again, I'll have you clean the latrines.
At the last comment, she leans close, her eyes wide and voice low with awe.
All this time, I didn't realize she knew my name.
Are you always this excitable?
It's just, this is my first time away from the rough country.
Oh, a Rautine term for the homeland. Rough refers to both the unyielding rocking soils and the storms that batter the mainland. Ah.
I'd heard there were thick, green forests and sandy beaches without a storm in sight, but I never imagined this.
She shakes her head in wonderment.
You must have traveled lots, seen all sorts of amazing places.
Why does this interest you so much?
I love Rauatai, but it's hard to go a week without seeing storms, or hearing about mudslides burying a village somewhere.
Her buoyant expression sags, but only for a moment. You're the quartermaster. You sell things. Her face scrunches up in disappointment.
I really wish I could, but my supplies are for the Royal Deadfire Company and our allies. Hasanui's orders. Maybe if you impress her or Atsura, they could make an exception.
Okay, that makes sense. Efficacy of imps. Correspondence between Captains Reiki and Muscoro. To the oft-admired but questionably attired Captain Reiki. This letter should reach the Brass Citadel long before I do, which is lucky for you because you'll need to take the time to make some Hazatoa winnings to settle our last bet. Never challenge a captain of the Rukuapa. Oh. The Rukuapa. Elite group of specially trained warriors who carry out the Ragadui's will. Ah. They're their special forces. Most of them are barbarians, transmutation wizards, and enchanters who specialize in overcoming larger forces. They're often sent with the vanguard to soften new territories for conquest or to quell rebellions in troublesome provinces. As barbarians and wizards, they use their abilities to transform the battlefield to their advantage and then overwhelm their opponents. The wizards open great rifts in the earth to destroy entrenched defenses, turn the air to poison to divide and rout enemy units, and boil rivers to block retreats. Meanwhile, barbarians wear down enemy forces, and lore college chanters strengthen their allies and intimidate foes with songs of the unit's valor. In their tactical prowess, their mastery of warfighting techniques, and their tactical foresight, they exemplify many of the Rautai's key virtues. So essentially using magic to copy World War I stormtrooper tactics, but for a pre-Napoleonic military. Interesting. Captain of the Rukuopa Choro Colonel Spitting Contest. My eldest knitted a pair of these fancy socks you love, though I hear the Deadfire's the kind of place where it's nice to feel the sand between your toes. Maybe it really is the haven everyone said as it is, you'll know before I do. When you see our sails, have a pair of razor skewers, some arak, and about 30 palohe nuts of varying sizes ready. In grand deeds and ill-advised wagers, Captain Muscoro. Interesting. What we got back here? Rune powder. Interesting. Only our people... Oh, nobody cares. Okay, hold on. The Hazanui Karu's office. But I remember they said the civilian secretary wanted to talk to me in the lower level, I'm pretty sure. We can take a look down there first. Got a little bit longer on the stream before we're done here for today. Oh.
They weren't that bad.
You have a name.
Hazanui with It's been several years,
I can't think of anything else that goes with
Verzano,
Hazanui.
Verzano. Wait. He was in the first game, wasn't he?
Me neither. That's why I leave ethics to the lore call.
Oh,
Criticism
yes.
is easier than creation.
Okay, yes, we did a bit more than protect you from the Dominals. If I see a Dominal in this game, I'm going to brutally murder them, unless they give me very good reason not to. As we shape coral, so shall we shape nations in victory, Yoranganui. Interesting. Monsters of the Deadfire, Scroll of Kalikoth, Minor Blights, don't give a shit about that. The man behind the desk regards you with an attentive, unblinking eye and perfectly open expression. His smooth features make it hard to pinpoint his age, though the slight crinkles at the corners of his eyes suggest that he is not especially young. He cocks his head, taking your measure. He pauses before speaking just a little longer than seems normal. When he finally does, he seizes you by the shoulders and wraps you in an abrupt but warm embrace. Okay. The gesture is so sudden and over so quickly that when he steps back and resumes his politely professional manner, it's as if it never happened.
Watcher Nui, the Lord of Cadnua.
The Rautine word meaning big, often used after a person's name to indicate respect or admiration. He gives you a sleek half smile that reveals a row of perfectly pointed teeth. In his careful stare and the pauses before you speak, you recognize that he's studying
I'm not
you.
one for ostentation, but your remarkable display at Queen's birth suggests that you are an individual with skills, not mere style.
It's kind of you to say.
Few with abilities like yours would be so humble about them.
His eyes shine with interest, and he blinks, perhaps for the first time since your conversation began. Yeah, Tsura is coming off as a very weird one, Tenwin. I'll give you that.
Tsura, Grand Secretary of the Royal Deadfire Company.
It sounds like a significant title, but he is strangely emotionless. He might as well be describing the color of his clothing. For a trading company, your people have a very commanding presence here in Neketaka.
Why not? Thousands of years ago, our people came from the archipelago. By one reckoning, we have as much claim on these islands as the Huana.
That far. This is actually kind of reeking a bit of Imperial Rome claiming that they were from the Trojans, and that's why they had every reason to conquer most of Anatolia and the Greek lands. It's kind of giving those kind of vibes. He shrugs and waves a hand in the manner of someone politely dismissing a compliment.
Does all Rauatayan law work this way? Where is that mountain of Azada shells I misplaced thousands of years ago?
Takehu strokes his chin and idly glances around.
Our purpose here is trade.
He gives you that unusually placid smile
While
again.
our homeland is rich in saltpeter, the violent climate and rocky soils make it a poor source for most other basic staples. It's my business to look after the mainland's interests here.
He spreads his hands wide to include his rather plain and dim office. I'm assuming that these interests include Luminous Adra.
That is a Valian frivolity.
See, that's where I think you're wrong. I think the Rautayans are going to find that that could be a big problem for them in the future.
Leave it to them to observe a substance that occurs nowhere else on Aora, and immediately set about pulverizing it for profit.
A ripple of distaste passes over his features. To be fair, they're also using it to advance the science of animants.
For now. But what will ultimately win out? The Valians' drive for innovation, or their hunger for wealth? Besides...
Alright, I'll admit, that is a good point. The Valians do seem to have a tenuous grasp on their ability to wage larger economic conflicts of this sort, given that they tend to dump all of their resources purely into their economic endeavors. A direct war between them and the Huana, or them and the Rautayans would probably end pretty badly for most of their attempts at animancy research.
We know too little about Luminous Adra to understand the consequences of ripping it out.
He pauses and considers
Perhaps you can help me keep them from doing more harm.
What do you have in mind?
The demand for Luminous Adra has sent the Valian Trading Company into a frenzy. Their expeditions grow too bold, and their officers too greedy.
He puckers his lips as though at a lack of discretion at a dinner party.
Worse, their rapid expansion attracts pirates and threatens the outlying Huana tribes. This risks souring the Kahanga royals against all foreign involvement.
He inclines his head like he's about to let you in on a secret.
But you can curtail their growth.
This isn't about the welfare of the Deadfire. You're worried about them outpacing you.
By snapping up land, we need to grow food and build ships for our people? Indeed. But our interests and Deadfire's are not mutually exclusive.
He interlaces his long, well-manicured fingers.
The Valians have sent an expedition to Pococahara, a storm-wrecked island believed to house a vein of luminous. I hear you accomplished an incredible feat in restoring the luminous Adra near Port Maje.
He appraises you again with unblinking eyes.
If your abilities allow you to do that, then perhaps you are also capable of the opposite. Find the luminous Adra at Pococahara. Render it unusable to the Valians. This should encourage them to develop the resources they have, rather than reaching for more.
I thought you were concerned about disturbing the Adra.
Deeply.
He furrows his brow, frowning deeply, and then abruptly his expression clears.
But if a small sacrifice here will discourage the Valians from further ventures, then it is a worthwhile risk.
And why would I help you?
Because governors like Clario are a rare breed. Most of the Valian administrators care little for the well-being of the Huana. If the Valians claim Pococahara, it is the locals who will truly suffer.
Okay, so I was partially wrong. There is a divide between the military and civilian leadership of the Rautaians, but it's not between themselves. The Admiral is more focused on the Huana, especially after we saw how Maya reacts to most of our choices. It seems she falls in line with the Admiral's beliefs, whereas Atsura seems to actually be a full believer in the idea of the kinship with the Huana, and thus he's focusing on the Valians as the main threat. Whereas the Admiral most likely dismisses the Valians as militarily insignificant, and thus, if it came to a fight, she'd be able to wipe them out. And what's to say I don't tell the Valians about this?
For all their faults, they don't lack imagination. I'm confident they know of our intentions.
Oh, okay. Well, at least you're honest. We will see.
Deadfire is a tumultuous place. Consider the value of an ally with ships, cannons, and the backing of a great empire.
He gives you a soothing smile. See, it's this kind of backroom politicking that does want me... Like, even though we made a whole argument in the last stream about my issues with the Principi, at least right now, I would rather back the Principi and the Huana rather than the Valians and the Deadfire Company. Because I think the Principi are that's not the wrong word. They're open enough to working with the Huana, whereas the Valians and the Rautaians both really just feel like they want to conquer the place. Even well-meaning ones like Atsura seem to be making the argument of, well, we're not going to conquer them, we're just going to bring them back into the fold, so to speak. And that just, well, first of all, you could read that as being condescending as fucking hell.
I do not have the precise location of Pococahara, but the tribe on the nearby island of Tikawara could probably help. I suggest starting there.
The village of Tikawara was recently founded by a small Huana tribe. Though the location has limited access to food, it is close to the legendary Inguithan ruins known to the Huana as Pococahara. Okay. He circles a small, out-of-the-way island on your map.
What else can I do for you?
What exactly is the Brass Citadel here? He hesitates, looking at you as if the answer is obvious.
It's a trading post, of course.
A trading post with incredibly high walls, massive cannons, guard towers, and the largest military garrison that I've seen.
Anything worth building is worth protecting.
You seem quite different from the rest of the Royal Deadfire Company.
How do you mean that?
You're very hard to read.
It comes from years of practice. It's the only way I've learned to beat Karanui at Hazatoa.
Really?
How do you mean that? Rauatai is composed of many types, but it's true, many here are soldiers and engineers, none of whom are especially diligent about paperwork.
He spreads his hand to encompass the scrolls on his desk and the shelves behind him. Very well. Okay, yeah, so yeah, the Rautaians do seem to be presenting more of a unified front, but they are divided on who they need to focus on. Behind the mess at Hasango, they'll pay. Food-stained tally sheets tucked beneath this battlefield model suggest it's been used for recreational purposes. What else have we got in here? Looks like a small prison. Every new recruit challenges Peryu to Hazatoa and drinks. Most wind up here. That's just some food and drink. Nothing else in here. More Italian guards. Oh. Nope, you're just a guard. Some more drink. That leads outside. Salt, swordfish, and water. Nope. Let's see what else we got in here. Someone has posted an earnest but excruciating attempt at epic poetry. I love how the running theme is that Rautaians really suck at poetry and singing, but they have chanters out the ass for most of their militaries. It's just that nobody else appreciates their fucking poetry. Some bronze Han. There we go. Ooh, silver toki, agate. Oh. What is that? A ruby.
Hey. Uh-huh.
Take that, thank you.
Yeah?
Buckler, Rautai padded armor. Their chanters are about to sing, God help us all. That is a good one, Tenwin. Ooh, more free experience. Thank you very much. A mace and some brass teos. Royal Deadfire Company cape. Most of these papers are letters to home. Almost all praise the Deadfire's weather. These rifles look perfectly maintained, ready for use at a moment's notice. Alright. Alright, guess it's time to go talk with the Admiral now. I mean, to be fair, it also sounds, given the Rautaians' imperialistic nature, that they use their chanters in a far more militaristic manner than a lot of other nations do. Ooh. Very yeah, not surprised here. Kazanui Karu paces near her desk, looking like a shark circling the shallows. She clenches a long, elegant pipe between her teeth, and the smoke trails an acrid swake behind her. She looks up as you enter and favors you with a brief nod of
The
acknowledgement.
former Lord of Cadnua, and one-time Terrifier of Harbor Masters. If dockside tales are to be believed,
She briefly smiles through the smoke.
you have not brought much good news of late.
A pensive look returns. It's not my job to bring good news, quite frankly.
So, in addition to pirates, profiteers, and slavers, the Deadfire has a vengeful god roaming its waters?
I know that's the benevolent option, but there is literally no evidence to suggest that yet. Did you lose the lord title, I wonder, when the castle became a giant pit? Technically, you're a lord by owning land, not by owning a castle. And technically, I still own the land. At least I should, though if I'm gone for long enough, I'm sure the locals in Deerwood will find somebody else to take it over. We need to learn more before we can speculate on his motives.
If your report is true, he's stumping port towns into craters. I don't much care why he's doing it.
Well, you may not, but I do. I have a voice in my head that's constantly telling me I need to go investigate his shit. And no, don't make a joke about me hearing voices. Being a watcher is not fun.
He must be stopped.
She halts, turning to face you. You finally get a really good look at her. She's not especially large for an Amawa, but she carries her shoulders high. Her weathered face looks as if it's seen many storm-blown and sun-beaten days on a deck, yet her eyes remain sharp and keen. Up to the pass, is there currently a massive pit all the way down? Yeah, most likely. I mean, that probably also destroyed the foundations of most of the citadel as well. First, we need to find him.
And then you'll need resources.
She watches you, her eyes bright with
The
calculation.
Varians won't lift a finger if it isn't to snatch a coin. And the Huana will barely do that much.
No? Tell it to the water shapers who washed your stranded boats from sandbars, Hasanui.
Takehu folds his arms and waits.
No one takes charge to solve the big problems. But perhaps we could work together to our mutual benefit.
She takes the pipe in her left hand, and as she does, you notice that her right is unusually still. Oh, casually ignoring Takehu. Not surprised. To be fair, if she's heard anything about his reputation, well, quite frankly, Takehu's a big talker, not really a big doer, so wouldn't surprise me if she doesn't really consider him relevant. What do you mean by that?
Look around. Deadfire's full of fertile, temperate islands. Except for Andra's mortar. It's largely free of rough weather.
She waves her right hand, and you notice again that her fingers remain strangely still, and you realize that it's an unusually fine prosthetic.
Yet much of it is uninhabited. Itinerant tribes drift between some of the islands, and smugglers and slavers cluster around the rest.
I mentioned that there exist fine and active prosthetics. I believe you did, yes, Tenwin. It would make sense given that they can pull off things like the devil and be able to, the devil of Kara can manage to get her working. So I imagine it has to do with some level of animancy in order for it to function properly.
It's a waste. Imagine what this place could be, with well-guarded shipping routes. How many Rawatayans we could feed with plantations here.
So you're exploiting the Deadfire for the sake of Rawatai?
That's a naive view. One our enemies are keen to promote.
She scowls, biting down on her pipe.
Rawatai's violent storms have shaped and hardened us as much as they have our homeland's rocky terrain. But it remains a difficult place to live. So, we rely on trade. And on plantations we've established here. And those developments also create a more stable, productive Deadfire.
She spreads both hands wide as if that explains it. Nonetheless, I don't see how you're much different than any of the other powers here. All of them claim high-minded ideals for their own people and cast disparagements upon their enemies. You claim that you wish to merely feed your people, and yet at the same time you treat even the local peoples with a great deal of disdain. A raspy laugh rattles from her chest.
The Valian Trading Company wants to leech every last coin they can from the Deadfire, no matter the eventual cost. The Principi are actual thieves, no matter their pretensions of nobility. And the Juana are happy to let them all pick away at their fractured empire.
Where you see fractures, I see the lines of age.
Lines big enough to sail the Valian fleet through.
She eyes Takehu before turning back to you.
We're interested in building something here.
Pipe in hand, she gestures expansively. Well, yes, but you're interested in building it for you, not for the people who are actually here, no matter your pretensions. Those plantations will be owned by you, those resources will be owned by you, and anything you extract from them will be sent back to Rawatai. The Huana will benefit in some peripheral ways, but they're not going to actually own anything that you decide to build here, despite it being their land. Again, you can claim all you want that a lot of the islands are empty, and I'd actually agree with you. At least then you're not actively taking it from somebody who's already there. But we all know that's not where this is going to end, because that's never where an empire ends with those kind of things. What does this have to do with me?
You've got a good head on your shoulders. Deadfire needs more of that. If you're chasing the god who's stomping this place into the ground, then we have a common goal. And if you're going to survive here, then you could use an ally.
A hint of a smile tugs her lips from her tar-stained teeth. What do you have in mind, Admiral?
The disaster at Hasango remains a key concern. We rely on the port there to ship food back to Rawatai.
She sucks on her pipe, hiding her worried expression behind a cloud of smoke.
That's on hold until you investigate. Short of that, there are other matters that demand attention. You've already spoken with Atsura. For now, I suggest you continue to work with him. I might have something for you later.
What's the game board for?
Hazatoa. Atsura and I usually have a game running, and this one's been going on for over a month and a half.
You've already spoken with Atsura. Okay, yeah, okay. So we don't have to go back down and talk to him again.
Atsura's good at misdirection, but I've got a mind for the long game. You look like you've come with a purpose.
If I might ask, Admiral, what happened to your hand? She extends her arm, holding the prosthetic up between you. It's an exquisitely crafted piece with reinforced joints at each of the fingers and a smooth, sanded finish.
It happened a year into my first command. We were chasing pirates along Rawatai's south coast, and they landed a shot right next to our magazine. A lucky hit.
She's quiet for a moment.
I ran below. The fire was already spreading and making for our powder stores. I smothered what I could with my uniform, pulled the rest away with my own hands.
If you hadn't, you and your crew probably would have died. She
We don't
nods.
get to choose our challenges, do we? Just the way we meet them.
Ah, so she takes a very Magranite view of such things.
There's a cost to every victory. And the win goes to those willing to make a sacrifice.
She considers the wooden hand, turning it in the light. You sense satisfaction in her
I'll
gaze.
bet you already know a thing or two about that. And if you don't, Deadfire will teach you soon enough.
Magrin is probably very popular with the Rautai, most likely, especially given their... I imagine that she probably crosses somewhat into Gallowayne's territory, given their reverence for nature as well. At least for the nature that has shaped their land. They might even see Gallowayne and Magrin as being natural complements to one another. Magrin putting up challenges and Gallowayne provoking the natural elements against them. I wouldn't say that he... Oh, wait, what? There's a dog. We must go back. The dog. Where? Where is dog? You go to the lower floor and then exit to the door to the south. Oh, okay. So that's back over this way. We will find all of the dog. Like, yeah, if I could convince the Rautaians to treat the Hawana and the Neketaka Hawana as equals rather than somebody to be exploited, which very honestly, that's what they're doing, then they would be the preferable choice just because their closer cultures would at least, I think, complement one another a bit more. And the fact that the Rautaians are indeed trying to do this largely for more resources that they actually do need.
Played out different. You might have grown up here.
True. Good thing my parents had the sense to leave.
And you'd be worrying about what the trading companies were doing, setting up down here.
No offense, but I try not to live with a bunch of ifs trailing in my wake.
But if I can't, again, I'd rather pair the Hawana, the locals, up with the Principi, whose more libertine attitude might actually allow them to work together without either of them stepping on each other's toes all the time. The problem there will be the convincing the Principi to give up their largely piratical leanings towards everybody else, and I don't know if we're even going to be able to do that. Oh, that leads back up into here. Oh, I should have just... Okay, so I didn't need to go downstairs. There we go. Plus 10% damage with melee attacks grants a little more likely to crit. Not bad, not bad. We are already almost completely full on pets. Okay, so now we can make our way to the gullet. I believe that's the last area. And then we will have...
You ever long for the simple life, soldier?
Nah, where I'm from. Sometimes the simple life comes knocking on your door with nooses and pitchforks.
Yeah, Ader's kind of done with the whole trying to be a farmer. That didn't work out too well for him. All right, into the gullet. It's the last area we need to actually go. Too bad the gullet is the largest area in the city. God damn it. Oh, fuck. As you leave the bustle of the crowds behind, making your way through the winding paths into the gullet. Oh, we actually have a description. Slum of Neketaka. Oh yeah, we already read that. For a time, the path ascends the mountain, and even so, the cramped walls and run-down Hawana buildings close in around you, obscuring your view. As you come to a dark passage cutting through the mountain, just wide enough to accommodate a wagon, the path here descends steadily into the rock face. After a lengthy journey through a dimly lit tunnel, you come to the gates of the gullet. The stench hits you first, a foul mixture of rot, stale air, and bodily odors. You notice a guardsman pushing a cart heaped high with moldering food, which must account for some of the smell. Ahead, the homes of the gullet emerge as a collection of lights amid the darkness, and you hear the rush of water below, and a frigid breeze wafts up from the unseen depths like an exhalation. And here we see the less wholesome aspects of the Hawana. You see a man being dragged along the rickety boardwalk towards a rusty cage that swings over the abyss. He strains against the guard's grasp. The guard delivers a savage backhand.
Or do you wish to consign her to the old city as well?
The warrior casts a meaningful glance at a woman standing just a short distance away.
Let him go!
She screams at the guards, but she doesn't dare approach. The man notices her, his face lighting with shame.
Mia, I'm sorry.
Your tongue flops like a dying fish. I tire of its stink. Lower him down!
Tekehu, must you...
The guards drag the Roparu into a metal cage and lock him inside. He shouts and rattles the bars as he is lowered over the edge of the platform. Yeah, one of the obvious issues with their caste system of equal ownership in caste works well when you're a tribe of 30 people, much less so when you number in the tens of thousands. Yeah. Yeah, their system doesn't seem to scale up very well, which might explain why they have so many island nations, essentially. Eventually, his screams and cries are lost to the depths.
May Tangaloa devour your souls, you cold-blooded eels.
Well, we're gonna need to find out what the hell that was all about.
What crime could he have committed to deserve such a fate?
Be careful. The gullet is no place for outsiders.
Overseer Hitenga. The guard folds his arms, watching the activity on the walkways through slitted eyes. A coral piercing juts from his lower lip. He notices you with a sharp nod. Where does that lift go?
To the old city, Ikira. A god's cursed ruin filled with walking corpses and abominations of the deep.
How can you consign your fellow woman or man to this fate?
Tekehu, you've lived almost your entire life in the city. You didn't even know this was a thing? Oh boy, this is going to be a bit of a moment for Tekehu, isn't it?
We punish only those who cause trouble.
He speaks forcibly, but stops himself when he gets a look at Tekehu.
Begging your pardon for my tones, sir.
He nods.
The gullet is no place to wander. Watch yourself for rowdies and pirates.
Why was that man sent below?
Taro? He associated with foreign criminals.
He spits. The gob of saliva is just one more splotch on the weathered and mottled boards.
I cannot be certain about Biha, so I let her go. But I will be watching her.
God, it's kind of sad that my first thought was, well, that's surprisingly lenient of you, but that's only in comparison to the fact that other guards might have just thrown her in there regardless.
And this is punishable by death, or worse?
Tekehu's voice wavers.
That it is.
He nods with no small measure of pride.
These wicked sorts overrun the gullet and corrupt the Roparu. Our justice must be swift and firm.
Do you know where this Biha is now?
Hers is the first house you come to. Just there.
He points southwest across the walkways.
We'll probably find her there.
What can you tell me about Delver's Row? Beneath the gullet, loose confederation and other seedy individuals known as Delver's Row. Place where most things can be found for the right price and word always travels quickly.
It is a cancer in the gullet. A place of criminals and their foul dealings.
He folds his arms and raises an eyebrow.
I cannot fathom for what anyone but a criminal would ask of it.
He lowers his head and stares down his nose at you. I'm not even going to bother asking him about this just yet, because we're obviously not high enough level to go down there, I would guess. Baby pearls, Raparu clothing. Or maybe we are? I guess we can?
You want down? Go and see Overseer Hitenga.
Go to the tavern and pick up Pelagina and Seraphim. Oh, okay. Ooh. He is home. The Hole. Of course, it's called The Hole.
This is the gullet? I had not realized.
Tekehu glances around wearing distasteful expression. He raises his arm to cover his nose and mouth. Even the bright Neketaka has a shadow if you haven't noticed.
The Mataru are supposed to take care of those below. This does not resemble care to me. Let us go on.
He gestures ahead, but his hand shakes slightly until he brings it down and clutches it with the other. Tekehu turns his gaze to the ground beneath his feet. I'm not trying to romance him, game. Let's be off. Alright, we'll go grab Seraphim and Pelagina if you think that's for the best, Tenwin. Oh, what's this? Beneath the dirt and mildew, these carvings look finely detailed and very old. What's that? Some booze. Does this game even have romance? According to Tenwin, it does. The problem is, I'm not... Oh, it's an ogre. It's an ogre pirate.
Let's not stand too close to that.
Hot wind redolent of vomit and mold wafts from the hole.
Did you hear that about the boss?
with my own ears. Dario said there's treasures in that pit.
Shh! Have you lost your wits?
Aloth, Takehu, Jyoti, and Maya. Yeah, I'm not really impressed with any of those options for a romance partner so far. An Orlan, covered toe to ear tip in sable fur, leans against the bar counting change. She gives you a wide, easy smile as she notices your approach, then slips the coin into her pocket with a wink.
Hey, fresh face. Welcome to the hole. Just got 2 rules, yeah? Keep your hands to yourself, and don't fall in.
The only romance I ever played was Viconia in Baldur's Gate 2.
Need something?
Like
What
buy
you need?
something.
You'll find all.
Yeah. I'm looking to swap out party members. Who did you say to bring? Palagina and Seraphim? So we'll drop Adir for now. And Seraphim will drop Maya for now.
At your
Yep.
service, Watcher.
Seraphim. Yeah, you work as a stealth expert. What skills do I want for you? Survival. And you know what? I'll bump his insight some more. I think that would be good to have him as a backup insight person. Wild Sprint, Barbaric Blow. So hold on. Carnage works on any weapon, right? So I could load him up with blunderbusses to get additional area of effect, right? He's also got Frenzy. Barbarian makes a courageous stand. It's a melee damage bonus, so that's not going to help. I guess he does have... We could give him more melee weapons. I don't know. He feels like he should be ranged, but then they give him Barbarian as a secondary class, and it feels like you really want to take him into a melee fight. Does he already have... He's got Arms Bearer. He's got Blooded. One-handed style, two-handed style, Wild Hunter, Accurate Carnage, nice. In area on weapon hit. So yes, that does add an area of effect. So then Barbaric Blow would increase that area of effect. Increasing the likelihood and damage of critical and applying Carnage in a larger area. Okay. Weapon and shield style, 2 weapon style. That does seem to be what he would want. So for right now, we'll go with Barbaric Blow. And as for his Cypher abilities, we will grab Hobbled and Weakened for 20 seconds versus Will. Or Frightened and Sickened for 15 seconds versus Will. That reduces the Resolve and Constitution and also reduces... Frightened is actually a really good condition in this game now. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and give him that. Oh. Unfortunately, it is already... Yeah, we're already about 20 minutes past 1. I need to get ready to go to work, unfortunately. So we're going to call it here. We are still in this fucking city after something like 12 hours. Jesus Christ. Okay, let's go see if there's anybody to raid today. How was tomorrow? I did promise I would do Endless Space 2 again tomorrow. I did promise we would do that as well because that's supposed to be our variety day. And I skipped it last week because I was really excited about getting Deadfire started. But we will do Endless Space tomorrow, 2 tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. And we'll see how fast I fuck up and cause myself to lose the game. Let me go see if there's anybody to raid right now. Really seeing anybody. The only people I know that are on right now are big streamers, so that's not going to help any. All right, so no raid today. We're just going to go ahead and finish up. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for checking us out, and I will see you all tomorrow for our Variety Day, where we will be playing Endless Space 2 and continuing our journey in that. We will have more Pillars of Eternity on Wednesday and Friday. And then remember again, I will be gone from the 21st to the 28th. So we will be skipping the end of December, and then I will be back on the 29th. Although, actually, now that I think about it, if I'm back early enough on the 28th, I might do a stream on that Saturday. It depends on how things go, just to try and make up for a little bit of lost time. But until then, that's going to be all. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for being here. I hope you all have a glorious rest of your day and a glorious rest of your week if I don't see you tomorrow. Have a good one, guys. Thank you so much for being here. See ya. Bye.